Let's come up here so it's like more here, more to where the teachers are going. Anyway, shalom everybody. I hope everybody's having a Tawab day.
Thank you.
You know, weather's kind of crazy today out in San Antonio, but I'm glad for those who were able to brave the torrential downpour that you came down. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters out here fighting and striving every day to serve the Most High. ISBHPK San Antonio, ISBHPK Houston, ISBHPK Virginia, and ISBHPK Rochester, New York. Salutations, salam. Hope everybody had a Tawab weekend. And shalom to Kawakab out in Guatemala, teaching his congregation and doing his service for the Most High. Shalom to the brothers out there. Good day to everyone. Last week we had a class on Monday concerning the different traits that kills the spirit of growth. And I'm not going to lie to you, we can go over like 15 of these classes. I promise it won't be part 15s, but part of, I might go at least 3 parts because there's so many different things that happen in our life. There's so many different things that occur in our life, shalom sis, that ends up slowing down growth. Or so many things that we incur in our life that makes it hard for us to see the good in serving the Most High.
Hey, can I say this point?
Oh, let me finish this real quick. Because when it says traits that kill the spirit of growth, I'm just trying to explain what the heck does that mean, traits that kill the spirit of growth. Just growth could just mean how you look at the Most High, how you look at your service towards the Most High, how you look at what you do every day for the Most High. And these are the things that we discussed on Monday, what we're discussing today, and possibly next week. These are the things, these are the elements and issues in us that keep us from seeing what we do for the Most High in a very positive, clear, happy light. What was you going to say, that way? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, the relevance of this topic is people are normally fulfilled when they're growing. When I'm growing, when people around me are growing, there's a positive energy, and there's a fulfillment and a natural joy that emanates off of us because we're conscious and we see development in our life, in our actions, in our day, in our households. So people often complain about unhappiness and problems. That's a product of stagnation.
Yes, and what we're going to go on today is about how there's so many different things that get in the way of growth, that get in the way of how we look at our life. Now we get so entangled with the things that are presented in front of us that we lose track that what we're supposed to be doing is finding happiness what we're doing. And what we're supposed to be doing is focusing on how to grow, not being reactionary based off the things that happen to us in our life. So the first verse I want to go into is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. Let's take our time. Let's not rush to make sure everybody gets it. 2 Timothy. Timothy's in the New Testament. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
I am ready. Is everybody got it?
Let's
make sure we get it. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. I know, listen, if I'm going too fast, let me know. The party's over, though. Yeah, no more good for myrrh.
I know. Hey,
we tried this new myrrh. It is phenomenal. It's the best myrrh in the world. Well, at least it really is for today, Monday.
We didn't even add anything to it. So that's by itself at max.
Now you can unleash with all the oils and liquids on top of it now.
Yeah, it's good myrrh though.
Yes, it is. Okay, Shalom sis, how you doing? Online. Okay, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5.
Second.
Oh, Slacky, what was the name of the class again?
Traits that kill the spirit of growth, part 2.
Part 2, okay.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This is a true saying. If a man desires...
No. 2 Timothy.
Oh, so
chapter 3.
That's right here. 2 Timothy.
Verse 1 and 2.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
Okay.
It says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
Listen, in the last days, perilous times are coming. Dangerous times are coming. Okay? Now let's continue.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
And this is the root of the perilous times that are set to befall us. When it says men shall be lovers of their own selves, what does that mean?
Men gonna be doing what they do.
And they're gonna do what they have to do to survive. They're gonna do what they gotta do to find their self-fulfillment. And it's gonna be a world that's predicated on self-fulfillment. Self-preservation, self-reliance, and you're gonna have a world full of what? One word.
Selfishness.
Takers, man.
Takers.
Selfishness too, same thing. You have a world full of takers.
Yeah.
And this is what we as people who are trying to be spiritual and serve the Most High have problems navigating and accepting. In these perilous times, there's going to be takers, there's going to be selfish people, meek people, and they're going to have a bunch of reasons to be that way. Okay? Because in these perilous times is talking about like starting right now. Perilous times is referring to just the basic overall erosion of society.
Which is where we're at as far as now, when the time period, the manners of people are more self-based. Everything people do, the basic relationship between a man and woman is almost impossible now.
Yep.
For new generation people, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, or fresh out of college.
Because you know why? Because nobody understands roles.
No.
Nobody respects that everybody has a responsibility that they have to bring forth to the table in the household.
There's no sense of loyalty.
There's no sense of loyalty, respect, honor.
Yeah.
This is how society has eroded.
Yeah.
From how we're raised as young children.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't know. It doesn't start now. This was 70s, 80s. When society started eroding, the fabric of society started eroding, you started having these issues.
During the time period of the sexual revolution.
God, that was one of the starts of the erosion of society. I'm just saying there's many different erosions. All I'm trying to say is because of all the deterioration of life in society, you have these selfish, one-sided people.
Yeah.
That can't get past what they're not getting out the deal. Okay? And because of that, what ends up happening?
It says, men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Mm-hmm.
Covetous.
Now it's about what I want. A covetous person is going to see what they want, see what they think they need, and they're going to take it.
Yeah.
So now you have a bunch of taking people that are going to take people around you and take the things around you. Now you're going to have an entire society that's protected, guarded, and fearful of being taken advantage of. Exactly. Read on.
Boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy.
These are all aspects of a deteriorating society. We can go into, I don't want to make it about a breakdown about how America's falling apart morally and civilly. That's one of the day. But I just want to make sure we understand what is the consequence of sin. The consequence of sin is that other people get harmed. Not only are you offending the Heavenly Father, but we're deteriorating and hurting and destroying the people around us because of the sin that we're seeing, because of this selfish society that's been nurtured. Read on.
Verse 3. Without natural affection.
Without natural affection. Because all of sin, all that sinning does is makes a person protect their own self-interest at all cost. And if I'm protecting my own self-interest, I don't care who I stomp on, I don't care who I use, I don't care who I take advantage of. The only thing that matters is me protecting me. What was you gonna say?
I'll say, and perilous. The word perilous And the Strong's is 5465, which means chipos, which means through the idea of reducing the strength.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last days, perilous times shall come, meaning that the natural strengths and traits of people and the virtues of people that makes them honorable will start to be reduced.
Now listen, with that concept in mind, we're not going there, but this is what the Most High taught Ezra. He said the time of society diminishing so that then the world, he says, listen, if you're looking in regards to the caliber of how society was, he said, look at it like this. There's a fire, and there's a fire that moves past you with all of its veracity and potency. And what you have that passes behind, after the fire passes, what you have is smoke left. He says, you're the smoke. You're the remnant of the potency that was before you many ages ago.
The last trace.
And the funny thing is, you're talking about Ezra, who was still a powerhouse spiritually, who was still able to, for the Most High, to get 200, 400 plus books, to where he only sat back here and published 2 or 3 of them. How about that? And he was, Most High always explained to Ezra that he was part of the tail end of the best of our nation. What about us now? We're on a completely broken and watered down and diminished level. Why am I saying this? Because of all the hurt and all the hate and all the negativity that we face. This is why it's so hard sometimes to overcome anger and negativity, a negative outlook. Because this is what the trait I'm referring to today, at least, that keeps us from growing. Our anger, our bitterness, our unhappiness about our conditions. Because you look around, all you can see, or for the most of all, it's very easy to find, to have a good reason to be bitter.
To maintain.
It's a good reason to be angry. There's so many different reasons why I can choose to be frustrated. I can choose to be unhappy. I can choose to be discontent. He's telling you this whole world is without natural affection. All we want for the most part is to be considered, for people to think about us. But Most High telling us this is a world now in perilous times that people aren't thinking about other people. This is a world where the concept of natural affection is no longer there. Because a lot of times when I hear people in counsel and I hear people talk about why they're angry, why they're bitter, why they're unsatisfied, why they think how the Most High, a lot of them, a crappy deal, a crappy situation, I can partially understand why they would say they have a crappy deal.
Why that conclusion's there.
Why they've had that conclusion. I can understand why a person will say everywhere I go and look, all I see is unhappiness, unfairness, sadness, oppression, loss. I can understand that. But if I go into the book, the Most High is telling you this was what was going to happen. We were going to be faced in a life, in a situation where there wasn't going to be natural affection.
I gotta prove that
people weren't going to care. What are you going to say?
I just say on just a simple technological level, people are normally used to being around people physically, seeing their body language, hearing them breathe, seeing their facial expressions, and now the newer generations are being raised up where they interact with people through screens.
How does a person talk to a person through text all day long?
Or math.
And you don't even know if this person thinks you're full of shit with what you just texted. How do you do it? How do you communicate with people and get proper vibes just off some texting?
Emojis are genuine.
Wow! Emojis are genuine.
They gotta be genuine. You put 3
they
heart,
have to be.
You put 3 heart faces on. They gotta be genuine.
That means it's meant to be.
Or they react to your message.
Horrible, but listen. I get it. It's just so foreign to me. But that's society.
But they're saying
crazy.
that
3 heart emojis
people
means
I'm
really serious about this conversation.
Well, they're communicating, they're interacting, but on a physical level, there's not interaction.
There's a disconnect.
They're in their own room. but they're with their friends.
With
And
their
that's
three hearts.
becoming normal.
Yeah.
That lack of normalcy is starting to cause mental illness in a lot of children.
Come.
So that's another or aspect of how people are losing the ability to naturally have the natural affection.
So let's keep going. So without natural affection, that means a person is in a self-preservation mode, and we're surrounded around people who put themselves first. Read on.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 3. Without natural affection, truce breakers.
That means we're around a bunch of liars.
That's not cool.
Around a bunch of people that don't keep their word.
I promise that.
Is that not what we deal with every day? It's hard to sit back and see the good in people and situations when people keep telling you they're going to be better and they're not better. People keep telling you they're going to change and they're trying, and I'm really, really trying, and this time's going to be different. And then they sit back here and they break their truce. That's hard. Listen, the Most High tells you that if you're offended, you're supposed to turn the other cheek, right?
Yeah.
You're also supposed to forgive your brother 70 times 7. Not that easy to perform, though.
Yeah.
When we're supposed to be here and forgive, and the person says, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be better next time. And they're not better next time. A lot of times they're not better the next day. Or the next week. And you're sitting back here like, wow, this person is swearing they're giving 110% and they're just not. And I'm in this trick bag. I'm constantly being affected. I'm constantly losing. I'm constantly suffering. I'm constantly around people that have no natural affection. That reality wears on the best of us. Just imagine it wearing on a person that doesn't study and read the Bible. You're going to go crazy, bonkers. The idea that I'm surrounded around a bunch of selfish people, even in the truth. It's the same deal. We're having to sit back here. When you develop each person, brother, sister, child, we're creating it. We're changing, trying to change the culture and how each person was raised. It's a very difficult process. Anyway, all we're explaining in chapter 3, verse 1 through 5 is how much collateral damage that comes from being around so many or so much negative. And it's understandable that because we're around so much negative, the inclination is to withdraw yourself, separate yourself, keep away from all of these negative stressors that makes life already difficult, makes a difficult job that much more difficult. Once again, I'm just painting a picture as to why anger, unhappiness, not being content can keep a person from growth, because it's so much of it around you. Read on.
False accusers. Incontent.
What is a false accuser? A false accuser is somebody who's always lying on your name. Most High talks about how detrimental slander is. The Most High hates that slanderer. He hates when a person sits back here and stains your name. Because every day you're having to face people slandering your name, attacking your character, attacking who you are as a person. When you're sitting back here and you're looking at this laundry list of negative, okay, I might sit back here and look at this. I might not be frustrated with a covetous person. I'm okay with the haters. But then I might have an issue with boasters. People that puff themselves up to act like they're something that they're not. That might vex the hell out of me. Then I'll go down with proud boasters and proud people, the same damn thing. People that can't be told the truth about themselves. That might anger the hell out of me. You might deal with blasphemers, people that just doing and saying things that are completely out of pocket. And I got to go back and deal with this guy. Consistently. Well, most I say, pick your poison of negativity. Disrespectful, disobedient to parents, badass kids. You might be anti-badass kid. What else? Unthankful. Dealing with unappreciative people could vex out of people. When you listen, half the people we deal with the camp is unthankful. When they first come in, they don't appreciate what they've been given. Everything is take.
I can't value it until I have to lose.
But you're seeing all these different elements you got to ask yourself, which one of these laundry list of things vexes you? Makes you want to withdraw yourself. Makes you want to separate yourself from working with that person. Because these are the reasons why we don't want to work with other brothers. These are the reasons why we have issue with our husbands and our wives. What's the thing that's putting the issue, the kibosh on your damn marriage or your brotherhood? What's that?
Everyone could pick a pet peeve out of that.
That's what I'm saying. You listen, everybody got something in this first 3 verses that vexes the hell out of you. To the point where you change because of it. It's a difference between dealing with sickness and dealing with sickness that brings the worst out of you. Because this is what the Most High is revealing in us. Out of all this scenario, which one of these things are bringing the worst out of us?
You get that out? You got that. Well, I got it.
I want to make sure it's
We don't have to use the phone camera.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that could really happen. But let's read verse 3 again, y'all. I'm sorry, man. I'm putting you and making you do 3 things at once.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 3. Without natural affection.
Without natural affection.
Listen.
It's already the background energy.
Because this is the challenge that comes from dealing with people.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you get some Israelites that just want to sit back here and be knowledge people at home. Because dealing with this is where the work is, and where the discomfort is, and where the hardness is. Every day I'm dealing with sick people whose sickness directly brings out the worst in me. Isn't this the root of our disagreements? There's something about this brother that just makes me think he doesn't give a shit about me. It could be natural or without natural affection. It could be a truce breaker. He doesn't say what he means. He says one thing, but I can't trust it. There's plenty of things. There's a person who's got pride. You tell a person 1,000 times, they don't listen. Pick your anger, pick your sickness. The Most High is explaining to us why there's so many reasons to be angry. There's so many justifications to be angry and bitter. Continue.
It says false accusers, incontinent.
Incontinent. It's meaning not restraining the passions or appetites. Unable to restrain discharges. You just know what beast ass dudes, huh? How about you get dealing with guys every 5 minutes at the job, they're just making outbursts. That could be a vexation. And they just can't control their emotions. They can't control their negative speech. They can't control their negative conduct. And we're sitting back here stuck, dealing with different type of wackadoodie issues, huh? Yeah. And if you don't look at it spiritual, it's easy to start having your negative and your continence change. Continue.
It says fierce.
Listen, bitter, angry people. When you're around a fierce person, they're always what? Combative. They're always looking for a fight. And I got to drive 12 hours with a person who's always looking for a damn fight? That's hell on earth.
And they're really setting up scenarios to trap you in the argument.
And then all of a sudden, like the next day, you're getting counseled because you reacted to their negative badly. Yeah. You reacted to their pride the wrong way. Now you're in a counsel because you couldn't handle another person's negative. And you're getting checked for being a negative. This is what happens for being affected by another person's negative. But he's telling you this is a battle, and in the last days, perilous times will come. Mm-hmm. Read on.
Despisers of those that are good.
The truth is this. That happens to every single one of us. When you're trying to live a more disciplined life, most of the time, you're hated on. When you're trying to operate and function with a certain level of discipline, you're looked upon as the goody two-shoes.
You think you're
better than me. That was the next statement, because that's what you deal with all the time. When you're trying to sit back and drive the truck, and you playing verses all the time. Can we sit back here and listen to some mindless hip hop, so I can keep jumping energized? Does it have to be that all the time? It's always the Bible. Oh, you're just so much better than me, huh? You're just so much more spiritual than me. Why are you egging me into a confrontation? So what if I say something like, I'm not going to say it.
But
if I say a retort, a snappy retort concerning why in the hell do you not like to read Bible verses and listen to Bible verses, then guess what? You're emotional. You're a negative person.
You're rude.
You're rude. And you're making, what's that?
You need to watch how you're rude.
All these things. Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Because this is what we deal with Israel all the time.
We have a cornucopia of different, really.
You know what cornucopia is? They have the squash. There's a squash. There's a pumpkin. There's slices of whatever the hell fall veggies.
Yeah.
in this bowl. It's a mixture of fall vegetables.
We have gourds here. We have. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, I get it. But keep going.
But there's just a variety or multiplicity of what? Different bad personality characteristics.
Yes.
How about that?
It's bad personality.
Yeah, bad personalities. You're always around bad personality issues because you're working, and we can keep it cool and under control when we're feeling good. But most people's personal lives aren't feel good places.
Listen, you confront. Listen, it's cool to deal with it for like an hour. But there's no running when you're sitting back here in the truck for 12 hours,
married,
bro. There's no run. There's no getting away,
you're
bro.
Married in this truck,
you're in this sickness. You are in the vomit. When you're married, you're in the vomit.
Yeah.
There's no escaping it. And the Most High is trying to see where your head is at. I don't want to make it too much here. I just want to paint the picture here.
Yeah, okay.
We can talk about this damn verse for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But let's get to verse 4 about how negative people are and the different ways we're negative.
2
And
Timothy
you have
chapter
the endurance
3.
to handle it.
Yeah.
Your endurance of that's temperance versus another pan's negative.
Yeah.
What's the ratio? Who's gonna win?
God, but keep going.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 4. Traitors.
Traitors. Read on.
That too.
Heady.
Listen, traitors just means people that don't believe as much as you do, and are susceptible to quitting and abandoning you. I gotta still deal with you as if you're gonna be here. Read on.
Heady. High-minded.
Mm-hmm. But heady, I just looked it up real quick. Heady is just rash, hasty, precipitate, violent, disposed to rush forward in an enterprise without thought or deliberation.
Come on, just go.
Inflaming, violent, and impetuous. The point is this: you have any rash and extreme emotional person that you're dealing with, and you have to be a calm, structured, spiritual person around a very emotionally unstable person. This is a regular Tuesday. It's for the truth.
Tuesday,
It's a regular damn Tuesday. Am I lying? This is what we get at home. This is what we get in the truth. This is what we get for serving the brotherhood and the body and the sisters and the families of Israel. Okay, so continue.
High-minded.
Pride. Once again, all these issues coupled with the fact that people don't want to hear nothing and be taught nothing and be redirected the right way. Read on.
Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High.
And this is where the clash really is the basis of. The people that we work with love pleasures more than they love the Most High, and there is a toll that dynamic can put on you. It's a toll that being around somebody who loves pleasures more than the Most High can put on you if you let it. If you let it. Okay? Read on.
Verse 5. Having a form of godliness.
Because even having a form of God, it's not like the people that we work with every day are complete Satanists, are they? There's good, and there's forms of godliness, there's good traits, there's good habits, and all the men we work with. But the more we work with men, what do we deal with? We deal with that sickness that's ever present. So we're dealing with brothers that are trying to do well and have a lot of negative in them. Sisters too.
And that's the natural dynamic.
But the problem is that they're negative. What part of their negative drives you up the wall that makes you want to quit, leave, get away, say, I'm not working with this person. You know how many times I've heard that the last 2.5 weeks? Yeah. I'm not working with this guy. I quit from working with this guy. Like, what the hell? Or I'm leaving. These statements happen when you didn't have it up to here.
Or it's him or me.
Oh, that's the same thing. Now, remember that one? That was like 15 years ago. It's either this guy or me. Like, what the hell?
Somebody lose their salvation today, at the mall.
Somebody was going to lose their salvation. It was at River Center Mall. Somebody was going to spiritually die tonight. It's either him or me. This is how bad it gets when we let the negative of others affect us to this detrimental level. And I know if we're all honest, we can see it with the people who work with every day. Especially when it's hot outside, it's 105 degrees out. Listen, it's move 3. It's move 3. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon out. The sun is at high tide out. Hold on. The asphalt is sizzling out. The asphalt is sizzling. It's at your chest. Yeah. And you got brothers acting a damn fool, like, and they're just going bananas, and you have to deal with this negative and not snap. You're in a customer's office, you're in a customer's house out, and brothers are acting whatever these issues are. They're loving pleasure more than the Most High. They're high-minded.
Or you're dealing with.
They're heady. They're being all emotional and erratic, and you got to sit back and keep your cool. I'm sorry, keep going. I'm just painting a real picture. People in this room know what I'm talking about.
That's scenarios of brothers in the work, and then people that are dealing from a different premise or a different perspective. Your boss was an asshole. Traffic was crazy.
Thank you, Dewey. I'm just bringing it to like the hot 105. Listen, I just keep thinking about like July. There was an all-time high rate of councils and angry men act. It's the truth.
But the sun was all-time gangster.
I'm just saying, July there was so many councils from angry men act and offended people. I was like, damn, this number's high. So we're teaching men, we're giving the scriptures out, and there's so many damn councils right now. Anyway, keep going.
So you're dealing with the compounding effect of, okay, I got the boss is tripping, customers are tripping, my coworkers are really, or they're worse than normal. Mm-hmm. They're worse than normal, and now I come home to a situation that is not the best situation, the best scenario. It's just triple sacrifice for me. That I do with this.
But once again, the Most High is still showing us we have to learn how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. We're going to go into that in a few verses later. Mm-hmm. We still can't get around this. The Most High is telling us this is the battle. So when you hear counselors complaining about these issues, take them serious. They're real issues. But there's a difference between listening to the issue and co-signing the issue.
What do you mean?
These are issues everybody goes through. A lot of times, every one of us have these issues. But it's one thing to listen to it and hear them, and it's another thing to say, I get what you're feeling. Get away from these people. Don't deal with these people. I agree with staying away and abstaining from dealing with them and having any kind of contact with them. We don't have that luxury based upon our dynamic of codependency.
And this is what
we depend on the body to survive and function. And because we depend on the body to survive and function, we don't have the luxury and the option to just quit on people and back away from people. We have to weather through their sickness for their benefit. This is what the Most High brought us into doing.
Which is the spiritual challenge.
And this is what Acts chapter 2, Acts chapter 3, Acts chapter 4, Acts chapter 5, that's what it was all about. It was about all the apostles and the people of the Most High were working together to function and learn how to be self-sustained under Christ. And in the midst of that, you're going to start dealing with degenerate people, sick people, people that have issues that are directly contrary to what works for you. But listen, let's keep going.
Verse 5.
I want to let that go. Let that go and jump to Matthew 24 and 12.
Can I pull one scripture real bit?
Yes, sir.
We got 2 Timothy 4, 2 and 4, verse 14.
What? 2 Timothy what?
4 and 14.
4 and 14.
Yeah, 2 Timothy 4 and 14.
2 Timothy chapter 4, And verse 14.
Just showing that's nothing new. It's nothing new. Dealing with people that you don't want to work with, or selfish people.
2 Timothy 4 and 14?
Yeah, 2 Timothy 4 and 14.
2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
Alexander, the coppersmith.
He's always going to be known for all time. This guy's going to be known for all time.
He's worse than Hasten Jack, huh?
He's worse than Hasten Jack. He laced his trap. Real life tale.
That's what I'm saying.
About Alexander the coppersmith.
But keep going about it.
This guy right here is a bad guy. He's a bad.
Anybody who knows Hasten Jack, anyway, that's a 90s
Yeah,
thing. I'm
90s
sorry.
thing.
I just keep going on.
Alexander, the coppersmith,
Yeah.
did me much evil.
Read it again. He's going to be known for life for being a douche man. A man of douche.
Yeah.
Let's read it again.
2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 14. Alexander, the coppersmith.
Alexander the coppersmith. He was a coppersmith.
I didn't know that was a word, man. I didn't even know that was like a term that people use. But keep going.
Yeah.
Did me much evil.
He did the brothers. Man, listen. We just read the list.
Yeah.
He just,
It was one of those things.
It was a long list of something. Now, he did something in there. Something he did was in that list we just read.
Yes, he did. He's a bad guy. Keep going.
Read.
It says, the Lord reward him according to his works.
He prayed the Most High give him his dessert.
Yes, it's just dessert.
It's just dessert.
Kinda.
It's nothing new.
Well, that's the whole point. He was getting offended. We're all getting offended at. Okay. Now we're gonna let that go and go to Matthew 24 and 12.
Come. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, sir.
God. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12 reads, and because iniquity shall abound.
He says, iniquity shall abound. This is no different than what we just read in Timothy. Iniquity is abounding. Okay. Now listen, what we read earlier was the list of iniquity that happens to our people. We read that earlier. Now what we're reading is the byproduct that comes from when we're sitting back here and operating in a negative light. What's the consequence of us living and operating and doing, being around negative people? Read on.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
The love of many is going to wax cold. Yeah. Even if you have the Bible or you don't have the Bible, the love of many is going to wax cold. Just understand, for the sheer fact that you chose to serve the Most High and be its servants for your nation, you are in danger of your love being attacked. Your heart being attacked. That's one of the first things that are being attacked. Your desire to continue to love people. This is the battle. We explain in 2 Timothy 3 the backdrop of all the sin and how there's a lack of love. There is all these negative things. What's that happening in the world? Now there's a consequence to that. The love of many waxes cold. This is what's being attacked when you don't want to see a person's face the next day. When you want to avoid a person. You don't want no part of being around a brother or a sister or a family member. These are the byproducts of all these negative things that we're dealing with. And it's even tenfold for people out in the world. If you think it's hard for us who have a similitude of a desire to serve the Most High, how much harder is it for people in the world who don't study, who don't read? You're constantly sitting back here getting let down, torn down with no mental clarity as to how to get through it. Okay? So, are we done with that verse?
Verse 12.
We done? Are we done with verse 12? We done with verse 12? Stay. You read it because it's right in the same area. Read Matthew chapter 18 and verse 7.
18 and verse 7. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
God. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 7 reads, woe unto the world because of offenses.
Whoa.
Listen, this is destruction. This is Christ saying destruction to the world because of all the offenses. Destruction to the world because of all the negativity. Destruction to the world because of all the hatred and the selfishness and the self-centeredness that's happening on the world, on the earth, and how it's affecting the people. Read on.
Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that the offenses come.
And this is the point. Christ said it has to happen that the offenses come. It has to happen that you're offended. It has to happen that the Most High is going to bring you people and persons around your life that are going to aggravate you. It could be your husband, it could be your wife, it could be brothers, it could be other sisters. The Most High is saying these offenses are going to come. And there's no getting around it. You can't keep your life in such a box that you can avoid these possible struggles, these possible offenses. Once again, where were we in 2 Timothy? 2 Timothy 3. It's going to briefly say what these offenses were again.
2 Timothy.
Yeah, just run it real quick.
Chapter 3, verse 1. Know this also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters.
So selfish, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers.
Disobedient to parents, unthankful.
So you know what? The reality is you're going to have kids that are disobedient to you. These offenses are happening. These offenses are going to come. Read on.
Unholy, without natural affection.
Listen, you're going to deal with people that all that their whole life they've been taught that covering themselves matters. You're going to deal with people that are full of excuses. A false accuser is a liar, a person that's not honest. But there's many types of liars. There are people that lie to other people, and there's other people that lie to themselves. What am I saying? I'm going through this list again as a reminder that these type of people are going to affect you. It must needs be that offenses come. It has to happen that you're going to be offended. You can't escape it. If you're a brother and a sister might leave you, that has to happen. If that was what the Most High wanted you to go deal with, if that was the offense you had to deal with, then that's what you had to deal with. He's telling you these offenses have to happen regardless. But once these offenses happen or continue to happen, what posture or stance do you have to have and take? Read that, my word. I got to finish this part. Now, what you want to say?
It's a definition. It says offense or scandalon, right? It says
scandalous.
It says that, but it says right here, snare, cause of displeasure.
Okay, he's still telling you this cause of displeasure has to happen in our lives, but how are we supposed to react to these displeasures, these difficulties? Read that verse.
Come, verse 7. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come.
We have to first accept that we are not above being offended. We are not above being dealt with in a messed up way. But what the Most High is judging us on is what?
But woe to that man by whom the offense is coming.
He says, woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. What does that mean? Yes, Aisha. I saw the glittering wrist. It was shining.
It means that it's going to happen, but if you're the person that has it, woe to you, meaning the one from the person who it comes from. Woe to the man that...
Woe to the person from who that offense comes from, right?
Yeah.
So what it's saying is, the offenses come. You're going to get offended. Destruction to the person whose the offense came from in the first place, right? The offender. But this is the problem. When we get offended, what's our first mindset? To retaliate.
Yeah.
So if we now become the offender, we're in the wrong too. If we retaliate, we're going to be the offender.
Now,
that's the point. That was what I was getting to.
You got
to you now
to mess up
because we want to sit back here and get mad at the offender and react at the offender. But when we offend back, Mosai got our ass too. Now we're offending too. Now we're in the double trick bag.
Yeah, double trick bag.
You got put in the trick bag. You got baited into negative, You reacted to somebody else's negative. Now the Most High got you on the hook for reacting to the negative. Yes, sir?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say two things it makes me think of is one where it talks about, it says, abhor not a Edomite. And when you go into the history, that's part of it, is because if it's so bad, then why would you do the same thing he did?
Huh?
So you're actually learning from that to be what it's not like to be, what not to do. And then furthermore, the outcome is like, well, Dad, and then it's like, well, vengeance is mine.
Well,
I'll handle
that's why all these Israelites are about, when I get to the kingdom,
we're
going to have a special death party for them Edomites. It's my turn. Like, double torture, like, damn, what are you doing?
They're gonna be like,
I thought you was supposed to be mercy and compassion here.
Right.
Those dirtbag ideas, I got some special torture cooking up for them. Like, what?
I'm be worse.
You doing worse than Edomites?
Yeah.
That's what Israel talks about,
Yeah.
Like, there's a little sociopath in Israel sometimes too. Like, damn, where'd you get that creepy ass Wes Craven counsel?
I'm this all day,
Freddy Krueger like ideals, Like, what are you doing, Israel be crazy.
I'm thinking real Freddy Krueger. Like, that's a good one,
Shit, man. Anyway, read Matthew 18:7 again,
Come. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come.
Listen, we have to get past retaliation for being let down. This is the whole point. You're going to get let down. Mm-hmm. You're going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. It was meant to be that we were going to get offended. But the answer is, once you're offended, how are you supposed to react? Read on.
But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh.
Yeah, listen, if you're the one providing the offense, destruction is coming to you. But if you're the one reacts to the offense and doing something negative in retaliation to that offense, woe to you, because now you're injuring somebody else. Yes, sir?
Did you have Proverbs 24:17 and 18?
Hold on. Just give me 1 second. No, not on top of my head. I'm going to pull 2 verses, then throw it back at me, okay? See? No, I don't want that. Let that go and go to Luke chapter 17, verse 1 through 4. Luke 17, verse 1 through 4.
Luke 17, verse 1. Then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible but that offenses will come.
It's impossible that offenses won't come. He's saying offenses have to come. But the crazy thing, we fight a lot of times about why these offenses happen to me. We fight and we're angry that why is the Most High putting me through situations that are so difficult and hard. But he's telling you these offenses have to come. Read on.
But woe unto him through whom they come.
So woe be to the person who this offense comes through. Listen, they're going to get theirs. The Most High is going to give them theirs. Mm-hmm. The Most High is going to deal with the person who was doing the offense. But in the process of the Most High dealing destruction to that person that way, why do you got to get yourself in the mix? Now that puts...
I'm not going to wait on the Most High.
That's the point.
I'm not going to wait on the Most High. That's to take all day. I'm going to get mine now.
Exactly. I'm going to react to this person's negative by making a reaction. By doing something to show that I'm no chump. Because that's what a person thinks. Listen, to not retaliate on an offense, you look like you're a what? A pushover, a chump. You're weak. You're just letting the person run all over you. This is how we think. And the more you tell yourself that narrative, then you react, and now you're in destruction zone too. Now you're in Curseville too. Now you're in the Most High's getting you town too. I'm going to all these imaginary towns.
Yeah. I'm on the list.
The Most High's getting you town. Right. Listen, Curseville.
A lot of people been there.
Two Wrongs Town.
Still there.
Yeah, Two Wrongs Town. Listen, you can keep naming them. We're still in them with the same point. Read on.
Come, Luke 17, verse 2. But it were better for him that a millstone be hanged about his neck.
Well, this is what he's saying. The person that did you wrong, the person that's doing you wrong, He said, it were better. He says, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged upon his or about his neck. Read on.
And he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones.
So my question is, do you want a brother or sister to be hung by a damn millstone and cast in the sea? Was their offense that bad? Was their offense to you that bad to where they deserve death for it? Because the Most High is telling you, if this person was really attacking you with ill intentions, it was better that they died that way than the Most High, how he would deal with them. What's the point? Why would he say that? He's saying that because he's saying, listen, man, what I'm going to do to this person is way more just and better than what you got in your head. Stop trying to retaliate. Stop trying to take matters into your own hands. Why do we feel that we had to defend ourselves if we really trust the Most High is looking after us? He's telling us it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and cast into the sea than that he should offend one of these little ones. We're one of those little ones, right? If we're doing that which is right, why are we physically going through changes? Because the problem is, when we get offended by people, all of us deal with stress in different ways. Some of us get very tense to the point of sickness. Do you not? When you're angry and you're vexed, don't you want to get angry? Don't you get sick sometimes? Or you get your stomach ties up in knots?
No.
Or your blood pressure gets high when you get older? That's coming for y'all. Just so y'all know. Your blood pressure is that old man talk. Boy, you getting me so pissed off, my blood pressure getting high. Listen, blood pressure issues, anger, body aches. There's physical
maladies that come.
Issues that happen from dealing with this type of stressors. But why? Why are we letting this anger get so engulf us so much when he's telling us the Most High's got him? It's better that a person gets thrown off a damn cliff with a damn big rock than to sit back here and a person offends his little ones. That verse is a reminder he's got your back. Stop overstressing what you're going through. The Most High will deal with the individual who has it out for you. Read on.
Luke 17 verse 3. Take heed to yourselves. If thy brother trespass against thee.
It's a key word though.
Take heed to
good instruction.
yourself.
That's really good advice.
Because you have to focus on how this negative is making me react. How this negative is changing my mindset. How I act, how I carry myself. This is what you have to be on top of yourself to protect yourself from. Read on.
Take heed to yourselves. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him. And if he repent, forgive him.
How does a person operate in this lane? He says, if a brother trespass against thee, rebuke him. You should listen. It still tells you should tell them where they're off. That verse is important as a reminder not to hold all this hostility inside of you that you're being that's affecting you.
Yeah.
You have the right to tell a person that they're being offensive, but after that you let it go. And after you tell a person about the offense, you let it go and you forgive them. Read on.
And if he trespass against thee 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day turn again to thee, saying, I repent, thou shalt forgive him.
The only way to operate that in real practical spiritual times is this. You can't use this playbook dealing with people out in the world. First of all, that's a fact. You can't sit back and I forgive this, Ned DeWino over there at Walmart for stealing my money 5 times. I'm gonna keep forgiving. No, that's not what this verse is about. This verse is about dealing with people that you work with in Christ every day. Marriages that are based upon serving the Heavenly Father. This is where you use these type of
ethics.
These ethics and this mentality. Not for people in the world, but for people in this arena. But in order to do it, you have to realize in order to forgive 70 times 7, you can't take offenses personal in general. And as you're going through your life, when things are offending you, the number one practice is to learn how to be offended, absorb it, communicate how the offense is affected you, and then go back about your business. If we're going to get closer to the Most High, we have to learn how to not take other people's negative as an attack against me. Because the more I let another person's attack turn me negative, then my works turn negative, then my reactions turn negative, then my railings turn negative. Okay, I'm gonna do this one in Peter, and then I'll give it to you. 1 Peter 3:9. What was you gonna say, y'all? What verse were you gonna say? Just say it out loud.
Do you have Galatians 6:1?
Restore the spirit of meekness, right?
Yep. That's a solution. That's nothing there.
That's end game angles, bro.
That was
See, I do have. I yes, sir. I have Galatians 6:1. On the other
Go ahead,
side.
pull one too on the side.
What's that at?
Yeah, Peter 2.
We got hot pull one.
I sent you the scripture I was talking about.
Yeah. Let me take a quick gander at it. Not well. Yeah.
Come on.
Listen. It's not a bad verse. It's just not what I want right now.
All right, now.
It's not getting too sharp, but it's good. It will cut you. It will cut you. Read that verse, sir.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9. Not rendering evil for evil.
You're like, that's bogus, huh? That's bogus, huh? 1 Peter 3:9, say it again.
Not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing.
This is the whole point. Everything in you wants to react, protect yourself, justify your offense, and respond to your offense. But when you respond to your offense, just know you're in danger of that woe and that destruction, the same type of destruction that was about to go to the person who offended you. And you have to, this is why you're not supposed to go railing for railing. Because you're putting yourself in a position to get stung for reacting. He says the contrary thing that you're supposed to do in response is not to rail, but to bless. When it says bless, you know what all it is? You just hope that this person figures it out. That's what the blessing is. You pray that this person gets the understanding. Because what did Christ say when he was getting ridiculed and clowned while he was being crucified, when his body was on fire? He said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." That's the blessing. Can you keep teaching yourself and reminding yourself that this person just doesn't get it?
Which is a hard thing to accept.
Because you know why? Because you can either say this person doesn't get it, or you can say I'm getting played like a chump. This nigga knows what he thinks. He knew what he did.
He's diabolical.
He knew damn well he wasn't gonna get up this morning.
Yeah.
He knew damn well he wasn't going to inspection. He knew damn well he wasn't gonna clean that room today. He knew it. He says, Salaki.
Yeah, that's.
And Salaki is always the Salaki. I didn't know.
Oh,
nobody knows anything in this room.
I'm a baby in the woods.
Nobody knows schedules. Nobody knows times. We do the same damn machine
every day,
365 days a year, bro. And now nobody knows. Nobody knows that. Okay.
I understand that.
Oh, okay. But you know what? But this is the truth. This is why Moses says we're fools for Christ, because we have to choose the blessing process versus retaliation. This is what the Most High is expecting out of all of us. Can I learn how to sit back here and give a blessing? The brother doesn't know what he's doing. This sister doesn't know what she's doing. You know what? This brother just hasn't figured it out yet.
It's a shortcoming.
This is a person's shortcoming. Because you know what? You pulled it, I think it was in Daniel's. You famously quoted this verse where it says, the wicked don't understand.
Oh, they never will.
Daniel's 12 and 9.
It was Daniel's 12. And it talked about how a negative person is the one who don't get it. It's wicked, it's negative. A lot of times when you're not in the right spirit, you got this cloud of negativity on you. Right? And that person who's negative,
12 and 10.
who's negative and unclear, they don't understand. So this is a lot of times how you have to digest the situation so that you don't hold the grudge. Read that, Daniel's 12.
And 10.
Daniel chapter 12 and verse 10 reads, Many shall be purified and made white and tried.
Many people
Yeah.
shall get the scriptures, come to class,
Get cleaned up.
get a new Hebrew name,
Man, a new Hebrew name,
start putting their
man.
beards out, their hair starts growing out, put on dresses and headscarves.
Man, that's holy as hell,
Woo!
right?
It's like practices myrrh, love the Shabbat.
Yeah.
Maybe we're gonna be purified and turn white.
And they're going to start changing inside, too.
Not just outside, inside too.
Yeah,
Inside
that's
too.
what I make sure I say that. We're not just class, we're not attacking
Yeah,
that.
we're not attacking.
You work the inside and the outside of yourself. Keep
Read.
going.
Many shall be what?
Many shall be purified
Maybe we shall be biblically filtered.
Yep.
And their minds are getting better. Read.
and made white.
And made white, meaning white is the righteousness of saints. People start becoming righteous. Read.
And tried.
But then, as you become righteous, this conversation that the war's going through about, you're righteous, quote unquote, we're trying.
Yep.
But now that you're in the midst of Israel, now the different elements and weaknesses of other people and the negative other men will start affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get tried or to be in a trial. Read on. Your patience get tried. Read. Test it. Read.
But the wicked shall do wicked.
This
But the
verse
wicked
still
gonna
goes.
be-
This verse still goes there, right? Certain people are going to be growing, changing, and then also wicked people are going to be keep doing wicked
The
things.
wicked's going to be wicked either way.
You know what that means? Like the scripture says, a wicked woman's given to a wicked man. That doesn't mean that there's people that's evil,
Yeah.
but negative connects to negative.
Exactly.
So what we're saying is, people that have these negative flaws are going to keep making these damn mistakes.
And the word wicked also means to be injurious.
Huh?
So
Ooh.
I'm going to keep injuring
Great point.
other people. Because
Yeah.
you say that wicked, I got the blood, I got the Baphomet on.
Babies.
I got the baby blood, I'm doing my... No. You're injuring other people because of your malicious practices.
So in the process of certain people trying to be white and pure, other people are going to be injuring themselves and the people around them. Because that's what this is. All those negative
Traits.
connotations and traits that you read about in 2 Timothy 3:1-5, they're all injurious. And that's what wicked people do.
Mhm.
That's what the wickedness in us does. You injure people. And he says, marvel not at these injuries. We marvel at the fact that we're injured.
I can't believe it.
This ain't fair. Another injury. That's what this is.
I became an Israelite, I expected there to be better. Listen, what are you talking about?
You're dealing with this. You came into the sick army, huh?
Yeah.
They got Robitussin everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
Cough drops. Ricola is everywhere, huh? I'm serious, huh? There's a butt sickness around here, huh?
God.
So read that again, verse 12, huh?
Verse 10.
Read it.
Verse 10, check 12 and 10.
Many shall be purified and made white and tried.
But, read.
But the wicked shall
An injurious person is going to do what?
do wickedly.
I'm going to keep injuring people.
Exactly, and that's the sickness. The sickness is that you keep injuring other people, including yourself.
Keep breaking truces.
Yeah.
Affecting my rib, affecting brothers.
Yes.
Affecting myself. That's the nature of the Jews.
God.
Keep reading.
And none of the wicked shall understand.
But this is the problem. When you tell somebody, hey, you affecting me.
Yeah.
Hey, can you get up on time? Hey, you know what? This meal's half cooked. Hey, can you wash your plate? Hey, can you make sure?
Can you communicate properly?
Can you communicate? Hey,
communicate?
his brother's been waiting for 30 minutes. He's out there. He's outside waiting. You knew
It's
we to pick
raining.
him up. He's still waiting outside. All these different events that happen. Guess what? You tell somebody this, and it's the worst thing in the world. They don't want to hear their correction, or they don't want to sit here and be told what they did was incorrect.
Or injurious?
Injurious.
God.
Read.
And none of the wicked shall understand.
But they're not going to understand. You know why?
Because they can't get past themselves. They can't get past being in love with their own selves. That's why you can't. Because what is it that they're not understanding?
Yeah.
They're not understanding the magnitude and the effect of their sin on other people.
Because it didn't bother them.
There you go. That's the point.
You being
The
late doesn't
lover-
bother you.
That's the point. They can't get past what they're going through and how it affects other people. That's the injury.
God.
How my weaknesses and my negative habits are affecting people at a high level, and I just can't see it.
It don't bother me though.
That's why I don't understand.
It happened to me when I came up. Listen, but
No,
you guys
it's not even
spread this.
true. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Keep going on.
No, people, because it happened to me, then I'm gonna keep passing it
Yeah,
down.
that's tradition. You're
Yeah.
like hazing.
Bible
It's
hazing.
like horrible Bible example hazing.
Yeah.
I saw a bad example, so I should be a bad example to the next generation.
It happened to me. So shit goes down.
That's dumb Bible hazing.
If you know,
It's camp hazing.
if you know this is bad,
Stupid.
and this practice is offensive, then why doesn't it stop with you?
Done.
Well, I don't understand. You know what? Because when it's you don't understand. But when somebody else is negative, you can point it out with accuracy.
Yeah, pinpoint accuracy.
Detail, moment for moment. You have times and dates. But don't forget times and dates. When you ask them about what they do, they don't remember. And you have other people come in. Yeah, you were wearing a white shirt that day. How can you have some Jordans on? I remember that now. You don't remember when you did it, but everybody else did. You have a list, and you never forget. You have a whole list. You might be in your phone written down.
Oh my goodness.
That's Israel. We remember what other people do, but we don't remember what we do because we're one way.
Why is everybody got to wear Jordans?
You always wearing Jordans like you negative.
Listen, we're done with that verse, man. No, read the last part of that verse, Ike.
But
Ike.
the wise shall understand.
The wise gonna get it. The wise person can say, you know what, slack you. I'll make it a note to not be that way.
But you have to understand there's a lot of Israel that's sick and doesn't get it. And that wickedness is injury. And this is what makes it hard. Going back to the title of the class, the topic of the class is how that anger and that bitterness, just being around people that are constantly injuring you, can make a person bitter over time.
Come.
If you don't know how to look at it the right way. Okay? Let that go.
So you're saying we have to grow past people's injurious nature?
And we have to grow past people's injurious nature, and we have to learn not to let their injuries turn me bitter, not to let their injuries make me angry.
Come.
Because when I'm angry, when I'm bitter, I can't grow. I can't get the understanding I need. The Most High tells you another verse. We'll probably go later. In a malicious spirit, wisdom won't enter.
Yeah.
You can't sit back here and gain wisdom if you're constantly feeding on anger, bitterness. That anger and bitterness will turn into maliciousness, because the maliciousness is based upon your retaliation to injurious practices. How you react to the injury is how malicious you are. How you react, the threats of leaving, quitting, abandoning. Those are injurious responses to other injuries. Yeah. Which puts you into that negative position to get the same sting that the person that offended you is going to get by the Most High.
Now, who's ours at the police question this point?
Not yet. Let's do Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 21, verse 12 through 15.
Ecclesiastes 21 and verse 12.
Let me try to get this big apocrypha, man.
Big ball.
This big boy, man, make me feel like, it's easier, man. That small joint is just insane, bro. Why are these words so small? Like, maybe my eyes have gotten better, worse. Cause I'm like, these words shrunk on me. Why are these words shrinking? Every week they're shrinking. Anyway, Ecclesiastes 21 and 12.
Yeah. He that is not wise will not be taught.
He said, he that is not wise will not be taught. Read on.
But there is a wisdom which multiplieth bitterness.
Listen, he says, first of all, he that is not wise will not be taught. That's just talking about a person who just refuses to listen to a better way of looking at things, that refuses to listen and hold on to wisdom, a proper way. Then it says, but there is a wisdom which multiplieth bitterness. And what is that wisdom? This is negative reasoning. Have you tried to counsel a person to see the good in things, and they just refuse to see the good in things? There is a real demon with people that have outlook issues towards the Most High, outlook issues towards doing this work. That doom and gloom, angry spirit. He says there is a wisdom that multiplieth bitterness. Now we also know the scripture tells us about all wisdom is not of the Most High.
Yeah.
That's in Ecclesiastes also. So this is something about a mindset that you create that tells yourself that you're what? You're always the what? Victim. Everybody's always out to what?
Get you. And I'm always right.
And where I'm right is, because the person won't always say I'm right. They'll just say that I know how I feel, and I know how people make me feel. And a lot of people sit back here and hold on to how this outlook they have about how everybody's out to get them.
God.
No, everybody's out to take. Nobody appreciates. Nobody values me. That mindset is a mindset that feeds bitterness. Because if I sit back here and tell myself, actually, nobody cares, nobody considers me, brothers aren't brothers, sisters aren't sisters, my husband ain't whatever, my wife ain't this, you sit back and feed that mindset more and more, he says that mindset will multiply bitterness. Okay?
And because this too, and it is a wisdom. Wisdom means also skillful.
It's a skill
So
in looking at things like this.
you don't know, you don't always pull the negative in the situation. Like
There are people like that.
Man,
I can see the worst scenario. I can see the worst in people.
I can find a way to twist
to
this.
spin it, to see that, you know what, I knew this person had a problem with me.
Exactly.
I knew, you teach yourself how to be the victim.
Yeah.
Because of all the times you've been the victim.
Exactly.
You have a responsibility to choose to not see that you're the victim. That's real work. We just talked about how this world feeds that selfish spirit. So either you're going to be, in this world, you're going to be a predator, or you're going to be what? Prey. Now the prey that operates in this world, they operate like prey because they always tell themselves that they're what? That they are the prey. They tell themselves they're the prey. And they're always looking at how people are trying to be the predators towards them. And that's their defense mechanism. That's how they operate. And to some people, there is a comfort there. If I know everybody's out to get me, I don't have to trust anymore. I don't have to, I don't got to give.
And I'm gonna see me. That's the best.
That's a great one.
The greatest of all. Listen, the victim kings and queens are. Because I'm the victim, I'm completely. I have diplomatic immunity. I can do whatever I want to do.
So I don't have to be responsible for my conduct.
I've done nothing.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah. I'm on diplomatic immunity. So I'm on Hebrew Israelite immunity.
That's awesome.
Whatever happens, guess what? It couldn't have been me. It could not have been me.
You going to lethal weapon on brother?
It could not have been me. It couldn't have been me.
God.
It's never me.
And that takes away accountability. And then when you start getting people to try to see themselves, the anger gets even higher.
Exactly.
Because that wisdom, that type of thinking feeds bitterness. I'm the victim. Nobody cares. I've tried my best and it's not appreciated. Nobody appreciates me. Those are dangerous waters to be in.
And you can't. This is the funny part. It's the wisdom in is this. It's so hard to argue with that kind of person because I can't convince you because you're already convinced.
I know, and that's the point. There's something to say. I said people do care. No, they don't. Here are reasons people. That's not good enough. That's not the case.
I can't beat you. I can't beat you. Go have a nice day.
You have to read the Bible. You have to read the Bible and learn about how God is good. That's all you can do. You got to go back to square one. Because that's where people go and then you're lost. There's no way to neutralize
that. And because people start arguing with you, you think you're winning the argument. You're not winning the argument. You just left with your excuse. They got tired.
Because what happened is I might give you 10 to 15 reasons why the people do care, but that's where that wisdom is giving them 80 reasons why people don't care. Yeah. I don't know. I can't win this one. Listen, you have to learn how to change your way of looking at it, or you're going to fall by the wayside with this bitterness. And to answer your question, it says, yes, you can look at this in regards to a marriage. Because that's what this is too. Yeah. Marriage, brotherhood, sisters working with sisters, brothers working with brothers. This encompasses all those things. Because if I'm bitter, I'm angry, and I have a wisdom or a methodology that feeds bitterness, that means I'm walking around here and just that means you're sitting back and learn how to measure responses.
I'm collecting.
You're collecting negative responses. You're collecting facial expressions.
Yeah.
You're collecting words that can be perceived as inflammatory or not.
And you're
taking jokes like they're attacks. You're sitting back here creating this thesis out. It's a 1,000-page thesis out of why nobody gives a shit out.
Yeah.
You're creating this stacks of evidence out. And then your whole outlook is just left.
Yeah.
Because you're feeding it. You're feeding it. That's why I said there's a wisdom that multiplies bitterness. Read on.
Ecclesiastes 21 and verse 12. He that is not wise will not be taught.
That means, listen, if you're not wise, that means because you haven't learned how to follow and listen. So a person that lacks the ability to listen and follow will not be able to grow. There's a reason that you're not wise.
Yeah.
Okay, read on.
But
the person that's not wise is not going to get taught that. Because you've lacked the foundation of having to learn and acquire information.
Yeah, because there's also too.
Because what is wisdom? The correct application of knowledge. So if I haven't learned how to apply knowledge, I'm never going to be applying knowledge. What are we doing? You can't get taught unless you know how to follow to apply the knowledge.
And guess what? You're going to be stuck where you're at. Everybody else is going to keep growing and keep getting understanding, and you're going to be in the 80s with your excuses. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be outdated.
Done. Well, let's keep going.
But there is a wisdom which multiplies bitterness.
There's a wisdom mindset that multiplies bitterness. Read on.
The knowledge of a wise man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life.
So the person's listening. A person learns how to listen, learns how to follow, learns how to follow instructions. They're gonna grow. They're gonna be productive. Read on.
The inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel.
Listen, and this thing is really hard because when a person's not listening, when a person's a fool, he says the inner workings, the inner parts of a fool is like a broken vessel. Think about this vessel. It's got a hole in the bottom. He said the inner workings of a fool is like a broken vessel. Read on.
And he will not hold knowledge as long as he liveth.
I can pour water into this cup all damn day long. If there's a hole in here, ain't no water staying. So he says that's how a fool operates. You can tell a person the right way to look at something. You can teach a person the right way to process something. It will never stick. And this is how he's showing the foolish mind. The foolish mind refuses to retain the information provided them. So you're just spinning your wheels, pouring water into a cup that'll never get full. Yes, sir?
In 1 year, out the other.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, but you're banging out gallons of water on you. You're trying to get it in here. Like, I don't know how it's not getting filled up. Because there's a hole at the bottom. There's a part of you that refuses to retain the information. Read on.
Verse 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add on to it. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him, and he casteth it behind his
Whatever
back.
you say to this person, you can never say anything's going to make them actually appreciate what you're saying.
And value the information.
It's hard to make them value that. Yeah.
Because you know why? This person has a wisdom already that leads to bitterness. If I'm bitter and I'm angry, I'm not in a position to listen and learn anything anyway. This is why we talked about at the beginning of class that anger, if you're angry, if you're bitter, if you have a mindset that feeds that, you can't grow. Because the information and the lessons that are right there for you to take and receive, you're going to discard it. It's not going to be of any value to you. Because you're so caught up with your anger and your bitterness, you can't listen to proper instruction to get you out of your spiritual ruts. Because I'm angry. Because I'm bitter. Because you know, I've heard it before. You counsel somebody, you give them counsel, and all I hear is words.
Yeah,
like,
that's real.
whoa.
That's a real.
That's a real thing.
That's super scary.
That's a real thing. When you're angry, and when the scripture said, "Appear all things are pure, but to the defile and believing nothing is pure." If I can't see the good in what's being brought to me, if I can't see good, I can't grow. If I can't see good, if I can't see positive, if I can't see growth, if I'm not ready to look at the good, there's no way I can grow. I'm going to be spiritually stranded forever.
I'm going to stay.
That's what it is.
I'm spiritually stranded. I'm
Listen,
out there.
Listen, I know.
That's a bad place to be.
But you know, and it's hard to reprogram your mind out of seeing bitterness and anger all around me.
But you know why? Because you can't be convinced.
Because you want to hold on to the fact that you're angry and you're sorrowful. And that's more important than the truth, than growth.
It's more important than the solution.
I know, because there's people in life that are happy being sad.
Yeah.
And there's people in life that are happy being angry. And they're content being angry.
That's their natural.
That's their disposition.
Yeah.
The disposition that they chose. I'm okay with being the victim. I'm okay with being the angry, sorrowful person. I choose that over sitting back here giving a person another opportunity. Giving a person a chance to trust again, to follow, to listen to some different, better instructions.
Or choosing spiritual maturity.
All of it's saying the same thing. Okay, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I think we got that point. Let's go to. Did I do it?
Oh, this internet.
The internet went crazy?
Oh, the internet's talking.
The internet machine said something to me. The internet machine said words. I will listen to what the internet machine says.
Yeah.
No, well, we're going to go into it out. We're going to let it flow. We're going to let the class flow and get it out, man. Let's do, yeah, we brought that point. Let's go to Proverbs 18 and 14.
So the gist is, from the beginning is, we're dealing with the last days. The last days been going for a long time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, when we say last days, I want to make like everybody's like, this is like, this issue's been going on for years. Generations.
Generations.
It's been going on for generations.
And people are getting weaker and weaker in their manners towards other people in a relationship.
And the more and more we deal with negative people, it's harder to stay positive. And that when people are constantly offending you and hurting you, it's so difficult to stay positive with a pure outlook.
To maintain your
spirit. To maintain that spirit. To maintain clarity.
Yeah.
Okay? So, let's go there, man.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity.
Listen, a spirit of a man, if your spirit's strong, you can sustain the issues that happen in your life. If your outlook is right, if your mindset is pure, if you can see the good in your situation, you can maintain hope, you can maintain positivity, and endure any infirmities that happen in your life. Read on.
But a wounded spirit.
But a what?
But a wounded spirit.
Now that bitter spirit is wounded. That bitter, angry spirit is wounded. But the sad thing about that wounded spirit is that they're not going to give that spirit the right medicine to cure itself.
True.
And that bitter person, that wisdom that feeds bitterness, is a wisdom that teaches you to keep that open wound sore. When I'm sitting back here and I'm constantly looking for how the next person hurt me like this other person hurt me. How this next person hurt me like I was hurt in my youth. Like I was hurt in my teens or my early 20s. Then I'm feeding that wound. I'm feeding it with more. I'm opening the wound more versus closing it. This is what we do, but that's what a wounded spirit does. It doesn't heal itself. It keeps that sore open. He says, a wounded spirit, what?
But a wounded spirit, who can bear?
And you just said, how can you counsel a wounded spirit when they're not trying to listen? When they can't see the good in the message provided to you? When they're unwilling to receive the lesson? Because when you try to give a person a positive solution, you get anger response back. Because the crazy thing is, a lot of times when you get a bitter person, they don't want to move on. They don't want to forgive.
That's a real thing, bro.
They don't want to forgive. They don't want to move on. They feel better holding on to how they were hurt.
You know why?
That fuels their actions and their decision making. And when you tell a person, you teach a person to move on, let it go, forgive, that angers them more. You get into more arguments when you try to teach a person to let it go. Let's go through the Bible to learn how to forgive a person. Forget it. That's where you know you have a wounded spirit that refuses the medicine that they need to sustain themselves, to heal themselves. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say, wounded spirit. It means smitten, and in Hebrew, and it's nakah, which means smitten. But smitten means to be killed.
But listen, but we've all been smitten because offenses shall come. We've all been offended. We've all been hurt. We've all been let down. It's just some of us choose to hold on to these hostilities and these offenses more than others.
And it also says broken.
Yeah.
So a person with a broken spirit, bro. This person, listen, I can't put these pieces together.
Yep.
This person's mind is shattered.
Exactly. And but the problem is this: the process of piecing together a shattered spirit. Either you're going to be willing to go through the process of it, or you're going to sit back here and focus on, I've been shattered. So to protect myself, let me keep looking at scenarios that match how I got shattered before, to justify why I want out of this situation, why I'm not content in this situation. This is still about a wounded spirit. How can you bear it? How can you motivate a person to want to love again? How do you motivate a person to want to extend again? How do you motivate a person to want to give a person the benefit of the doubt again? How do you get a person to want to try again? That's why there's a wisdom that multiplies bitterness. That's a dangerous wisdom. That's a dangerous philosophy.
Bad skill to have.
That's a dangerous mindset to just nurturing yourself. Let me keep nurturing how I'm angry. Let me keep nurturing and festering how I was done wrong.
I keep feeding it.
And that's the wounded spirit. You keep feeding negativity. You keep feeding being the damaged soul. You keep feeding scenarios like that.
And what they do is they keep prophesying about people like that. They keep prophesying because in your heart of hearts, you know that your nature of constantly being offended is gonna push people away.
Mm-hmm.
People know naturally, and people
what would the wicked don't understand?
They don't understand, but people should. I mean, there should be a little voice in your head that says, "Hey, this is gonna make people."
But I don't think so. I think people feel when they've been hurt and they've been damaged, they're focused on the fact that these people are hurting me more than they're thinking about how they're hurting other people. It still goes back to that. I'm being damaged. I've been hurt. I've been let down. I can't get past that. Okay? Let's keep going though. We finished Proverbs 18 and 14?
God.
Let's let that go and go to Ecclesiastes and the Apocrypha 16 and 20. I think it's through 26.
This is crazy, bro. This is right here. It says a wicked spirit who can bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says the word bear this is nasa, right? Which means to live.
Mm-hmm. Say that again?
Right here it says a broken spirit or a smitten spirit or what is it?
A broken spirit.
A broken spirit who can bear.
Yes.
Who can bear, right? And the word bear means to lift.
Mm-hmm.
In this sense it was written.
Who can carry a broken spirit?
Who can lift this person?
Yeah.
It's hard to try to morally improve this person.
Yes.
Because they want to stay in that place forever.
They want to see things how they look at things. What it's showing you is it's one thing to sin to make a mistake. It's another thing to motivate a person to pull them out of the spirit of bitterness, to pull them out of the spirit of anger and resentment. It's very difficult to rehabilitate that.
That's why they say it's really heavy on them.
Yes.
You know, they can't. There's too much weight. They can't handle it.
And the problem is all you can do is show them a path that they have to walk themselves, because they have to be convinced in their own mind that looking at this situation is the best way to do it. Because if not, you're just talking at them. And they'll say, you don't understand because you don't feel what I feel. True, to a point, but the solution is universal. The how to get from here to there is universal. And that's convincing people to let go of that wisdom that feeds bitterness is so difficult to do. It really, really is. What was you going to say now, yeah?
It also says to extol.
Mm-hmm.
So who can extol? Extol means to raise in words, to praise. It's hard even just to say something good to this person. Because if I say something good to you, what's your? They always say, what's your agenda?
Yeah.
I gave you a compliment, bro.
You're just trying to push me back into more hurt.
God.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
God.
Listen, and this is not even like, I know you're laughing, but this is real. This is what people battle with.
It's a heavy battle.
This is a real thing, and it's not an easy thing to pull out of a person. The reality is you can't pull that out of a person. All you can do is teach it and live it, and give people as many different anchors and options and paths they could choose to take until they take it. That's really all you can do. There is a powerlessness in that from a position of a person who is with somebody like that, but you don't give up on them. Because listen, we all have to forgive each other and to be patient with each other. That's what this truth is about.
And really, it's a fight that they have to fight. That's why you're supposed to be the person that don't take them personal. Because if you take them personal, you're gonna get in that dark place where you can't get past what other people are doing.
Good.
Like how you guys said, you have to look at like how Christ looks at, like forgive them for they know not what they do.
You have to.
You have to.
You have to. It's great scripture, but you have to, because if you don't, but you'll be pulled down in the same place. Or you lose faith in humanity, faith in brotherhood, faith in camps, faith in ribs, faith
the truth, faith in the truth, faith in anything.
Faith in anything.
Listen, because this is the mindset that breaks us and weakens us. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 25. No, we'll let that go. I don't want that. I thought I did, but I changed my mind. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 25 and 29, and I also want 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Well, matter of fact, give me 1 Thessalonians 4 and 8, and then give me Ezekiel 18. So 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Somebody help us out? Okay. So listen, 1 Thessalonians 4, verse 8 real quick, because this is the mindset. A lot of times with all this negative happening, with all these offenses happening, a lot of times we want to put a name to that face or a person to that face, and his name is Gerald.
That nigga Gerald.
That dirty dog. Listen, we want to put a name to that face, but Most High is going to show you whether it's a wife, whether it's a brother, whether it's a sister, whether it's a person, family member, how the Most High looks at how we narrow down on people that hurt us, and they're the center of our anger.
Yep.
Because the crazy thing is that one negative person you have an issue with, it just expands to all people.
Exactly.
I don't know if you notice it, but if you're negative in one person, you're gonna start seeing the worst in all people. And those are facts too. It's just a matter of time. One a little leaven, what? Leavens the whole of a little negative in one person, leavens multiple amounts of people. Just give it time. Just keep feeding it. It's gonna grow that paranoia, that negative outlook, feeds everybody. Okay, so read that. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 8.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 8.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 8.
He therefore that despiseth.
He therefore that despiseth, that's that person whose wisdom multiplies bitterness. That person whose wisdom multiplies bitterness, that's that same person that's despising. He that despiseth, read on.
Despiseth not man.
A lot of times, we think I'm just angry at this person for what they did to me, that person for what they did to me, this situation or circumstance that affected me. But you're not taking it out on a particular person. Who are you despising?
But the Most High.
You're despising the Most High. When you're sitting back here and you've let a brother's or a sister's negative or offense to you affect how you look at your day and what you do for people around you, that means you're despising the Heavenly Father. Because we're supposed to lawfully, read it in Luke 17, be offended, correct them, and forgive them. Anything outside of that, you're taking it personally with the Heavenly Father. We're going to prove that also. Because we're going to read in Ezekiel, let that go. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 25. We're going to see how the Most High looks at, how we look at the Most High when we're going through things. How do we look at the Most High when we're going through things? So it's Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 25. and verse 29. I don't know why I haven't marked this one. Now listen. No, we've been going. I've been going over this verse.
I hear about it.
We were going over this in the fall of 22.
No, I kept saying he's not even.
Okay, yeah.
He's equal.
Yeah. Okay, so listen. Matter of fact, let's just read it. What the hell?
Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 25. Yet ye say, the way of the Most High is not equal.
This is how we look at things. We tell ourselves the way of the Most High is not equal. That's lame. Listen, that's old English terms for the Most High ain't fair. That's what feeds the bitterness. We tell ourselves the Most High is not equal. He's not fair. What he's put me through is supernatural hell that other people on the planet Earth haven't experienced before. And I don't see these people going through these problems. Why do I got to go through these problems? See, this is why the Most High is not fair. This is why my life sucks. This is why I've been wronged. I've been done wrong. This isn't fair. So you couple this with that verse in 1 Thessalonians 4 and 8. He that despiseth not man, but the Most High. Because what we want to do is we want to be bitter. We want to be angry. We want to play the victim role so we can go do wickedness to justify our negative, our wicked devices. Listen, thank you. It's carnal ice cream. It's not real ice cream. It's real shit. Yeah. It's real negative.
We're going to enjoy our natural desserts.
Well, we say we justify it because we say the Most High is not equal. We tell ourselves all these Bible verses and all the righteous verse, and when the righteous do this, he's okay. He's going to take care of you. I want to read verse 24 real quick.
Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 24. But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness, and commit iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live?
So it's like, if a person is doing righteousness and then they do negative, should they get rewarded for that? Read on.
All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned. His trespass that he has trespassed, in his sin that he hath sinned, in them shall he die.
So read on. So the Most High is given fair analysis. If you're living right, if you're living righteous, you'll get rewarded. If you're living righteous and you turn to iniquity, you're going to get cursed. And what's Israel's response? Read on.
Yet ye say, the way of the Most High is not equal.
And this is how we feel. We're convinced that what the deal the Most High gave us wasn't fair. The Most High gave us a crappy lot, a crappy deal, and my marriage is messed up. I work hard. Everything around me is bad and suffering and hard. There's pain all around me. This is that bitter mind, that angry mind. This is the stance they hold. Read on.
Hear now, O house of Israel.
He said, but listen, Israel. Listen to what I'm telling you. Read on.
Is not my way equal?
He says, my way is equal. I am fair. I've been fair with you. Every one of us in our lives have got a fair lot. Nobody's got a crappy deal. Nobody's been given a shit in a stick. But do you believe it? The Bible says it, but do you believe it? And that's the challenge. Can I believe what these words say? Or am I going to sit back here and keep saying, but what about this and this and this and this? Read on.
Are not your ways unequal?
He says your ways are unequal. And if your life is uncomfortable, if you're dealing with hazards and pain and suffering, it's from choices that you made. I'm not the unfair one. You're the unequal person. You want your life to be at a standard that you didn't earn. And if you would have earned if you would have lived a life that was of equity and justice, you would have got rewarded based off that. But because you've been wishy-washy, up and down, hot and cold, lukewarm, you got a lukewarm life in the spiritual realm. How about that? Just because we know Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah, we got Hebrew, we know verses, that don't mean that our life has been equal in His eyes. And a lot of times, our expectations of how life should be versus our actions and conduct and decision making don't match. And that's what's unequal. But you know what? Like the Most High is saying, you are where you're supposed to be. You are where your conduct is and what your spiritual decisions have led you to. Yes, Yeshai.
I just wanted to say something on this verse right here. To be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So it says, like, basically we must be watchful, like, all the time, because we don't realize most of the time that our own mind is this roaring lion that walketh about. Our own mind is that devil, because I mean the scripture says, for the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No doubt.
So I mean, I just want to pair that along with what you're saying, because I mean, it just seemed like maybe.
Because our own mind is our own worst enemy. That's the thing. Our own mind, how we think. He says there is a wisdom that multiplies bitterness. And once again, the class is about that. That verse says it all. We have ways of looking at things that feeds our anger and our discontentment for our situation. We want to blame people. We want to blame situations. We want to blame circumstances as to why my life didn't end up the way I think it should be. But when you're blaming people, situations, and circumstances, you're really blaming the Most High. And when you blame the Most High, now the Most High is saying, you're blaming me because you're saying that I have been unequal to you and unfair to you and unjust to you. But the Most High's response to this retort is, you've been unequal to me. That's why your life is the way it is. And if we can learn that we are where we are because of our choices and actions, then maybe that can stop me from being bitter and resentful about my condition. Maybe I can start looking inward and realizing the Most High's got me around these people and these scenarios because I have to learn something about myself. There's a pattern about my conduct. There's a pattern about how I handle things that the Most High is saying is disorderly. So what do I have to fix in my disordered patterns if I want to if I want the Most High to react favorably to me? But I can't even get to that train of thinking until I get past why I'm so bitter. You have to get past your bitterness to start dealing with accountability. But you can't get to accountability until the Most High shows you that His ways are equal, He's fair, He's just. And as we go through these next verses, that He's all about fair balances. The Most High is against unjust, unfair balances. So if He's against unfair balances, that means your life is equally balanced. And your conduct, your actions got you where you are.
And your conditions,
your partner. The Most High got the partner that you're supposed to be with. He's got the wife you're supposed to be with. He's got the husband you're supposed to be with. Because how many times when you're in your negative and your low, you're saying, I don't know if I got the right one. If I chose the right one. Let me get out of here. Mayday, 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 mayday. Can I sit back here and start a do-over pill? No. Most High got your ass right there. What's the lesson? What is He teaching you from this marriage, from this brotherhood, from the person that the Most High got you worked with and got you joined at the hip? What's the lesson? That's where we have to grow up to get to that point, to start realizing. Versus playing the victim, telling ourselves things are unfair, we've been done wrong, we've been screwed over. I got a crappy lot of life, huh?
I don't deserve this.
I don't deserve this. Most High's not fair. He's put me through some supernatural hell. No, He's got you exactly where you're supposed to be based off your decisions, your negative, your sin, weighed out with your good. You're where you're supposed to be. So now, if I'm where I'm supposed to be, now I can start working on what I got to do to move up. Does that make sense? Okay. Read 25 again, and we're going to move on. No, we're going to read 29. Let's read 29.
Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 29. Yet saith the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal.
Why do you think the Most High said that verse again? Because listen, the crazy thing is the Most High is teaching us. Listen, when you get to just read the entire chapter, I just don't got time to go into it. But the Most High is talking about, he's reasoning with us. You know, you talk to somebody and you're counseling with somebody and they say, yeah, the Most High ain't fair, though. Most High ain't equal. And you keep giving them answers and clarity about why the Most High is equal. And his answer is, yeah, but the Most High is not equal. This is what the Most High is saying. He's trying to beat it down our thick skull. He is equal. And we want to keep saying the Most High ain't fair. The Most High ain't fair. I hear him saying, but the Most High ain't fair. And then you ain't hearing what he's saying then. He keeps repeating it because this is our natural response to being talked to with common sense. We don't want to. The idea that we're where we're at in our life based upon our decisions is too hard to accept. We have to create a boogeyman, the bad guy, this bad situation. It's somebody else's fault that got me here. I'm here because of me, because of my choices. Even we can talk about bad examples. We've all seen bad examples. We've all been around bad examples. But you chose it. You chose to follow that bad example too. There was something about that naughtiness that you knew was naughty, and you still chose it. Where we going, man? Okay. What's happening right now? We're talking. This is the Bible. I'm messing around.
And it's like how you're saying, after you chose it, then you chose to continue doing it.
Exactly.
And you chose not continue doing it. So therefore, you have more weights on one side of continuing doing it, which makes it way heavier.
Yeah.
So that's why you get what you sow, as opposed to the less from taking off.
And that's the point. And for all the weights of you choosing negative,
right.
The contrary side is bad things happening.
There you go.
But then all we focus on is the bad things. Why are these bad things happening? You don't see this heavy ass load of sin that you have to balance out to your result in your life. And this is how the Most High deals with us. But we can't even get to growing until we can get past our anger. Once we get past anger and bitterness, which is a monumental challenge to get past your anger and bitterness, then you can start getting to accountability, seeing yourself for where you really are at. Then you can grow.
These are stages.
But
these are stages. So what you're saying is
the anger and bitterness is stage one.
You're not going from, okay, I read a Bible scripture, so now I'm going.
Hell no.
People think that.
But this is why the Most High says that we need teachers. And the Most High sent us pastors going to his own heart. Because if you can think you can figure out these riddles on your own, good luck. Good damn luck. Because teaching is more than just sitting back here and giving a breakdown. For those who don't know, teachers have to have a minor in psychology in the spirit, not in school. But you better understand what counsel is if you want to teach. You better understand the studying the mannerisms of what makes you tick, the mannerisms of what make the people around you tick. Because to be a leader and a teacher, you better be ready to problem solve.
Know them that labor and love.
You better be a great example, and you better problem solve. You better understand and have a willingness to understand the sins in yourself and everybody else, so you can help pull that out and inspire them to fight what's inside of them. That's what teaching is about, just as much as knowing the scriptures. You better be willing to pull that negative out of them. Now listen, back in the day, Paul and they were able to sit back and exorcise demons out of people. We don't have that power. Well, you know what we can do? We can paint as clear and vivid of a picture that we possibly can in our power to enable you with all the tools you'll need to fight what's inside of you.
All the tools for you. The key word is you. People want another man to fight the battle for them.
No.
Not going to happen.
Because you read 2 Ezra 7, only one person can walk that narrow path where there's fire and water on the side at a time. Yeah. So you better sit back here and pack your trusty utility belt up with all damn type of counsels and understanding and strategies you can.
You better get all the oil you can. You better get all the oil You can't. You're gonna need it.
Because that's the point.
No, I was gonna pull.
Okay, we're looking up. I hadn't even gotten to the other side of the class. This was just talking about like the negativity that keeps us back. There's a solution side too.
It's gonna be a part 2 to part 2.
It isn't. But there's another side to this. Anyway, point is this. This is where we're trying to explain, and even in Ezekiel 18, you're seeing that Israel is constantly in denial. The Most High is saying He's fair. The righteous will get rewarded for righteousness. If you're righteous and you commit iniquity, there's punishment. But we're still saying the Most High is not fair. And then right after that first time, He's saying, listen, when a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness and commits iniquity and dies in him, and dieth in them, wait, it says, when a righteous man turneth away from righteousness, he's saying the same thing over and over again. Right. Then he said, verse 27, again, when the wicked man turns away from wickedness, okay, and he does what's right, then I'm going to give you a chance to live. He's like, nah, the Most High is still not fair, though. Hey, this is the second time in verse 29. The point is, we don't want to hear that the Most High is fair and just. Because if the Most High is fair and just, then why is my life? Then why is my life the way it is? Because your life, because you're not fair and just, and how you do things. People don't want to accept that because that's very hurtful, and nobody wants to deal with the fact that I wasted 10 years of my life being a selfish dirtbag, living me, and you can never get it back. Nobody wants to live with the fact that I burned 15 years of my life, wasting my life chasing bullshit dreams, being selfish. Now, I got 30 more. I better make this shit count. Nobody wants to deal with that. But this is the truth. But the Most High is fair. He is equal. So stop worrying about, but once again, you see how there's stages to even come into the reality about who you are and your circumstance? It's anger, bitterness, and resentment. You get over that. You get over that hump. Now you have to sit back here and start dealing with the fact that the Most High is equitable and fair. Once I get to that, then I got to realize I got to see me for who I am. But now I'm in a position to grow, which is why the title is Traits That Kill the Spirit of Growth, Part 2.
You know why it's important? Because just as much as know what qualities help you grow, you got to know what qualities do not help you grow.
And what qualities have kept you from not growing. So read verse 29 again, sir.
Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 29. Yet saith the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal.
Brother, and that's what we keep telling ourselves. You know, a lot of us say that statement for 5 years.
That's crazy, man. It's crazy.
You think I'm lying? I've been dealing with multiple generations of Israelites, and they'll sit back here and walk around with this dark cloud for years, saying things aren't fair. Their life ain't fair. What they've gone through was unreasonable. I'm going through things that others aren't going through. That's that strong delusion that you'll believe a lie. That's that wisdom that feeds bitterness.
Yeah.
Okay. Read let that go, sir. I think we're done. No, keep going. Keep going. I'm sorry. Is that verse done?
No, sir.
Read on.
O house of Israel, are not my ways equal, and not your ways unequal?
But this is a damn argument. This is you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? If I'm not, I noticed we already were being shipped out into captivity at this time. We were already out of Israel, and we're still arguing with the Most High about if the Most High is fair or not. Dude, the fact that you lost it all is the Most High saying your conduct got you here. But this is how Israel is. We're in the middle of losing, getting smacked, getting destroyed, and we're saying the Most High is not fair. You know what's but all of our conduct led you to this situation. You got taken out of your kingdom because you weren't right. This is why you're in Babylon right now, in captivity and slavery, and your entire Jerusalem is destroyed, is ransacked.
On the cost.
And but he keeps saying the Most High ain't equal. He ain't fair. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to be. It had to be this bad. I had to lose we didn't have to lose the temple. Yes, you did have to lose the temple because you lost it.
It was your choice.
It was your choice, and you lost it. It ain't there. For the fact that it ain't there, the Most High is saying your actions got you there. And that's a tough pill to swallow. Are you done with that verse?
Yes, sir.
Go to Job chapter 4 and 17.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
God. Job chapter 4 and verse 17 reads, "Shall mortal man be more just than the Most High?"
No, but we think we are.
We think so real fast.
We think we're more just than the Most High. You know how we think we're more just than the Most High? Because we're angry about the judgment the Most High puts on us for our actions.
We think we're right.
We think we're right because we're angry at the Most High.
Yeah.
About our conditions, about how we've fallen.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm angry at the Most High about my condition, when I'm just angry about my condition, it's proof that I think I think that I'm more just than the Most High. That's what this means. We think we're more just because we're not content with where the Most High got us at. When I think I'm not fair, what I'm going through is not fair, then I think that my judgment is more righteous than Heavenly Father's judgment. And we're way out of bounds with this bitter mindset. He's showing you how deadly and detrimental that bitter mindset is. Now you're in straight contention with the Heavenly Father. And you wonder why there's this gulf. You feel this gulf and this distance and this space between you and the Heavenly Father because you're in constant contention with Him. Yeah. Because you just haven't accepted the conditions He's got you going through.
And I want to change, bro.
That's the point. Now you're at war with the Heavenly Father.
I want to argue before I change. How about that? I want to argue.
You want to complain?
Yeah.
You want to be bitter? You want to be not satisfied?
Yep.
He's telling you this is the problem. Shall mortal man be more just than the Most High? Read on.
Shall a man be more pure than his Maker?
The answer is no.
Come on, man.
But the way that I tell myself that I'm more pure than my Maker is how angry I am about my conditions. Didn't Most High say in Wisdom of Solomon 10 or Ecclesiastes 10 that pride and furious anger was not made for man? Yep. Who the hell are you about be mad about the conditions I got you going through? Or mad, either you're mad about the conditions I got you going through, or you're mad about the judgment I set in your life. You don't got that damn right to be angry about what your whack-ass answers and decisions got you into. Yeah. Or a battle that I know you got to fight. How dare you be angry at this? How dare you question me as a power for having you go through what you have to go through? You understand? Okay. Let that go. Now we're going to go into, give me Proverbs 16 and 11 and 21. What we're going to go into now is more about how to start rehabbing this negative mindset. Because, I mean, time is flying like crazy, but the first part of the class was about just painting and identifying the spirit of bitterness and how that spirit of bitterness distances you from growth and pleasing the Heavenly Father. Now we're going to go into ways that you have to start practicing to change your outlook towards the Heavenly Father, because ultimately when you're in a bitter, angry mode, you got to first sit back here and start reconciling with the Heavenly Father and getting clarity with the Heavenly Father. Sitting back here and trying to reason, when you're at this level of depths of low, going to a person that offended you ain't going to solve it. You got to go to the Heavenly Father and ask for forgiveness and get clarity about what He's got you going through. So one of the first verses is good to start off with is Proverbs 16:11 and 21. Has everybody got that verse?
Calm down.
Yeah, read that.
Proverbs 16 and verse 11. A just weight and balance are the Lord.
And this is one of the things we have to do to center us. A just weight and a balance are the Lord's. Read on.
All the weights of the bag are His work.
Weights are what? Burdens.
Yep.
Every burden that's in, it says all the weights of the bag are his work. Every burden that you perceive as a burden is from the Most High. It's either a burden that you have to deal with so you can grow, or the burden is a judgment for what you have or haven't done.
Yeah.
And can I accept that the weight is just and that it's fairly balanced? The weight is the what? Is the responsibility. It's the burden. Most High tells you in 1 Corinthians, he won't give a man anything that's above him to handle. Same concept as a fair and just weight. This is how you start rehabilitating your thoughts. Because when you're angry and you're bitter, you've convinced yourself that your life is unfair, that your path is unfair, that what you've gone through is unfair or unequal. So the first thing you got to fix is the reality that your life is equal. Your life is fair.
Based on my works.
Based off your works and what you need for your spirit.
No. Based off this is my life.
Your life. Listen, what you got to understand is you need this type of battle in your life to build you. A lot of times we can't get past why I have to go through this type of circumstances that's different from this person's set of circumstances.
Big time.
We do that all the time. Why do I got to go through this type of path when I see this person going through that type of bag? But the reality is everybody's bag is weighted where it needs to be. For every lack of a benefit that you see in your life, Most High is giving you benefits that somebody else might not have. For the benefits you think somebody else has, they have a set of things that don't benefit him. You don't see the bad benefits or the bad things that balance him out. You just see the benefits he has that you don't have, which is why I'm angry. Well, for every benefit somebody else has, you might think that grass is greener. They have another set of circumstances that balances their life out.
You have no understanding of.
That you have no understanding of. But this is how you have to look at people, your situation, your balance, your situation balances out for you. Their situation balances out for them. That's so important to sit back here and eliminate that spirit of bitterness. You have to realize that it's fair. Everybody's circumstance is fair. Then you can go to the next phase. But you got to understand that a just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. Okay? Let it go. Go to verse 21.
Proverbs 16 and verse 21. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increase learning.
Is that what I wanted? I don't think that's the
still
verse.
matches though.
It does, but that's not what I...
Sweetness of the lips increase learning. That means I can properly speak to somebody. When
True.
a person's bitter, they can't talk to nobody. So you ain't finna learn nothing. I can already tell from your conversation you're not finna really see this. So some people just won't counsel. Like, okay, I'll just holler at you on Shabbat. See you on Shabbat, brother.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no damn way. I thought I...
Let's get the next one.
No, we can. I don't like the fact that I don't know why the hell I pulled that verse. That
It was a little before that.
maybe I just
Read
it's
it
not
again.
there. No, that ain't it. That's not the one.
Yeah.
That's not the one. Anyway, it is what it is. Let that go and go to Proverbs 11 and 1.
Proverbs 11 and verse 1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord.
So he's saying in 16 and 11, a just weight and balance are the Lord's. He's also saying 11 and 1, a false balance is an abomination to the Most High. So it's an abomination in the Most High's eyes to give a person a false balance, to give a person an unfair set of circumstances in their life.
It's how much we tell ourselves we're right.
What was that?
It's how much we tell ourselves we're right. That's what causes the false balance.
Yeah, exactly. But the Most High's balance is never false. He says he hates giving out a false balance. So the Most High hates giving somebody a situation that he doesn't deserve. He hates giving a person an unfair circumstance. That's not what he's the author of.
He hates unfairness in general.
Exactly.
So why would the Most High give you a set of unfair scenarios when he's anti-unfair scenarios? He's anti-oppression.
With these verses or what you're using to combat these constant negative thoughts that are just attacking you. For those of us who battle this, take notes. Because you have to sit back here and write your hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, during this time too, the way that the scales weighed is that you had counterweights.
Mm-hmm.
So in the center there was the balance, which is the what's straight up, and then you have a scale on the left and right. So if you went and you bought 10 pounds of flour, you'd put 10 pounds of flour on there, and then you'd have an actual counterweight that weighed 10 pounds. But if somebody wrote 10,
rigged it, they rigged it, yeah,
right,
yeah.
then you're cheating. So that's what it says, is that all the weights of the Most High is just weights. Meaning, if He says it's 10 pounds, it's 10 pounds. But us, if we're in denial, somebody's like, man, that ain't 10 pounds, that's 8 pounds. And you say, no, look, it says right here it's 10 pounds. And that's what we do. We start lying to ourselves. And we're in denial. So then, this whole time, we can't just say, you know what, I guess I'm actually cheating myself and I'm cheating others. So I need to actually, put a proper pound on there, or just fix this weight. We don't want to do it. We just want to be in denial and decide, no, this is what it is, and I don't care if they believe. So again, for the help of understanding why it's talking like that. That's how the scales work. And today we call that calibration.
Yeah.
When your calibration is off, you need to recalibrate, and then that's what fixes you. But you have to be, like the brother is pointing out, you have to be willing to come out of denial and say, well, if, the Most High's weights are just. If He's saying this is wrong, then hey, it's wrong. So I'm gonna get rid of this rigged weight, and I'm gonna deal with, just weights. So.
Exactly. And let's pull one more on that topic. Leviticus 19 verse 35. Leviticus 19 verse 35.
Yeah. That explanation was perfect, Aish. But just even with that, the Most High is all about fairness and judgment. Then you know what? He's going to be fair in your life. I'm sorry, I just cut you off.
I'm just assisting that point. Leviticus 19 and 35.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 35. You
Right.
shall do no unrighteousness.
You shall do what?
No unrighteousness.
I'm not allowed to not do the right thing. I'm not allowed to not be correct in how I do what? Read.
In judgment.
In what?
In judgment.
In judgment. That means people, relationships, myself, scenarios, business, all endeavors of human affairs. I'm supposed to be what? Correct and fair and proper and equal in my judgment. Read.
In meteor.
In what?
In meteor.
In meat yard. Meat yard is talking about measurement.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
In weight.
Weight talking about what? Measurement. Read on.
Or in measure.
Or in measure. So in what I give to someone, it should be fair. And how I receive someone, it should be based on fairness. And how I look at someone, it should be based on biblical fairness. That's why Christ said, do unto others as you would have them do what?
Unto you.
Because if you want somebody to be fair to you, that in turn must be what?
Fair.
Fair to others. If I want someone to persecute me, I shouldn't persecute others. If I want somebody to burden me, I shouldn't unfairly and unjustly burden others. If I want somebody to put me through things that I don't think are the right way of doing things, then I should put other men through the incorrect or unright way of doing things.
And let's just not forget, the whole point is the Most High is not going to do that to us at all.
Because He wrote the law.
And that's the point. The point is He's not going to do this to us at all. Man is fallible of doing that.
Yeah.
Man is capable of doing harm and putting us through crappy situations.
It's our nature.
But the Most High is saying, where I got you is where I got you. And your situation and your bag is fair, like this person's bag is fair, like this person's situation and bag is fair.
Yeah. So
and that is the first thing we all have to accept. Yes,
I guess through accepting that, that's how we decide on whether or not we want to be fair?
No. Yes and no. By accepting that is when we can start dealing with accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And start accepting why I'm in the situation I'm in. And if I want to get out and grow and expand and get out of my situation, what are the steps I have to do to move forward? But a person can't even begin to move forward until they get past the bitterness about why their condition is the way it is. Mm-hmm. And that bitterness and anger is a rut that a lot of our people just can't get out of. And there's nothing they can pull out to get out of that suspicious, negative mindset, that paranoid mindset. So once you get past that and realize the Most High's got you exactly where you're at, and your conditions are where they are because of what you've done, now I can start the possibility of growing, because I can be accountable and start learning how to face what's inside of me.
You can be instructed.
And then when I start, then I can be instructed. I won't be that person who is getting wisdom is like water being put into a cup that has a hole at the bottom. Because when you're bitter, you can't be taught nothing. But when you get past the bitterness, now I can be accountable. Now I can retain information. Now I can start following wisdom. Now I can start applying wisdom. Then I can start seeing myself grow. Then I can start putting my confidence and my outlook and my happiness again. Hand was up.
So is it safe to say to grow, we have to stop judging our circumstances?
Yes. Judging our circumstances in the worst light, in the negative light. Does that make sense?
Con.
Okay. Let's go. We did Proverbs 11:1, right?
God.
No, matter of fact, read 11:1 from the top, because I didn't think we finished the second part. Unless they did it when I was gone. Proverbs 11:1.
Proverbs 11 and verse 1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
Most High delights in a just weight. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit out. He's giving you everything you were supposed to get out. Let's not be upset about what he's given you based off your works and your conduct. Let that go and go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13.
I'm sorry, what was that verse?
1 Corinthians.
1 Corinthians 10 and 13.
Oh, the one he just read, I'm sorry.
Proverbs 11 and 1.
Water. 1 Corinthians 10:13, guys.
Let's read it.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13.
Yep.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able.
And even in a process of fighting battles and facing circumstances and facing challenges, he's reminding us that he's not going to put you through a circumstance that you can't handle. And you're in the situation in your life because of what your decisions have led you to. He's trying to show us everything around us is based on a true balance, a fair balance, a fair set of circumstances. How many times do we tell ourselves we're going through something that we just can't handle? It's too much. This is too much to bear. That's not true. We also tell ourselves that our life isn't fair. That also is not true. All the extremes that we take our mind through to justify sin, to justify staying in this unhappy, sunken place. It's the truth. It's a sunken place. Listen, all those things, all those reasons to hold on to it, the Most High, if you read enough, he's removing the excuses. A person holds on to their bitterness so they don't have to try anymore. A lot of us don't want to try. We just don't care enough about ourselves to try. I don't know if you've been that rock bottom where you just stop giving a shit. You just want to just get high, get drunk, and just give it up. Just give up. And quit. We're trying to show a person, show whoever wants to listen, how to get out of that rut. How to pull yourself out of that victim complex. That sorrowful mindset. That loathing. Because anger is another type of emotion that leads to self-loathing and hatred. This is how you can get out of it. The Most High is fair. You're in your situation, but you can get out of it.
Based on taking these steps.
Dealing with accountability. Getting past your anger. Stop being the victim. Be accountable. Start listening to the right advice.
Exercise the skill set that goes opposite of that negative, evil wisdom. Exercise the skill of seeing the correct element of everything around you. The benefit of everything around you. It's an exercise.
Just like there's a wisdom that feeds bitterness, there is a wisdom that feeds a pure outlook. It's practice. Clean hands making the man stronger and stronger. Can I practice every day to see the good in things? Can I practice every day to see the good in my circumstances? Or do I just every day just keep looking at the worst scenarios in my life? Yes, sir?
Ecclesiasticus 30 and 21.
I think so. Maybe. I don't know. We've gone over that.
Oh, you did?
Like
Okay.
no, we went over this 2 weeks ago. I just, the only reason I'm saying no is because I was talking about the conversation kind of went from anger to heaviness, but I don't want to really focus on the heaviness part. I want to focus on the anger part. But I know why you did that. That's a good verse. It's a great verse. Continue in 1 Corinthians 10 and 13.
But what with this temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it.
All the Most High is showing you is what he's getting you through, the things you're getting through. You're capable of facing it, dealing with it, handling it, and there's no reason for you to be angry about your situation or overwhelmed about your situation. He's given you just enough to get through the next day. Most of it's sufficient for the day is the evil thereof. He's giving you enough to get through tomorrow. Let's worry about tomorrow. Let's not worry about 6 months from now, a year from now. He's giving you enough battles. That's what it is. Let me focus on this battle I got in front of me today. You know what? Tomorrow's going to be another battle. There's going to be another battle next week. Let's focus on the battle today and gain momentum in doing things the right way to overcome this negative emotion or impulse. Then I'll start getting strong enough to fight the impulse next day, next week, next year. This is about getting momentum and getting strong and doing things the right way. Let that go and go to Psalm 68 and 19. Now, once I start realizing the Most High loves a just weight and a just balance, then I got to start adding on to that concept. And now, once we've accepted the Most High is just, and He's given us just what we need to get by, the next type of obstacle you got to start going into is that let me retrain my mind to start seeing that the Most High not only gives me just weights and balances, He daily loads me with benefits. It's not just Most High give me just enough to breathe, just enough food so I don't pass out and die. That's the beginning. Then we got to start realizing and training our mind to see how the Most High daily blesses us with a myriad of things. Psalm 68 and 19.
Come on. Psalms chapter 68, verse 19.
But see, you can't just jump into how the Most High is blessing you 1,000 times when I got a bitter ass mindset. Like man, do you know about the glory of the Lord? And how the Most High blesses you with this. He's giving you breakfast in the morning and He's giving you all this. You're not doing that shit, man. I'm going through hell. I'm angry.
Yeah.
You got to pull the anger out of a person. Then you got to remind a person that the person is Most High is just. Then you let people know the Most High gives multiple blessings and there's good in everything around you. You see how you have to stair step a person's mindset and the philosophy, little by little. Go.
Come. Blessed be the Lord, who daily loads us with benefits.
Do you believe it? Can you see how the Most High daily loads us with benefits? That's phase 3 right there. You got to sit back here and just stop being angry at everything around you. Then you start realizing the Most High is fair. Then you can realize the Most High daily blesses you. He daily gives you benefits. But depending on where you're at mentally, you got to study different parts of the Bible. But the goal is to sit back here and retrain your mind that everything isn't bad, but how the Most High is daily out there in your life making an impact for the good. But as you study, you're studying and your outlook has to match what you're studying. So over time, you have to train yourself to see the good in all things, people, circumstances, situations. You can look at it in one of two ways. You know how the Most High daily loads with benefits? For all of these people that the Most High brings to us, all the sick people, the hurt people, the negative people, What is the Most High teaching us when we engage all these people? You know how it's a benefit to learn patience. It's a benefit to learn long suffering. It's a benefit to learn humility. It's a benefit to learn discipline. It's the ability to have people around you that are exercising different elements of your spirit to teach you how to be a better servant of the Most High. That's how you start to retrain your mind, how to see the daily benefits that the Most High presents to you all the time. But that whole process is a mindset that you have to naturally build over time, especially if you have a naturally condescending mindset, a naturally negative, doom and gloom, the sky's falling mindset. And you got a lot of work to do to teach yourself that. Okay. What's that? What you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that today, I was driving my truck in the rain and passing a brother who was walking with food in his hand. Rain pouring on him. But it was interesting. I was gonna pull over, but I was like, well, it's close. But it's like how you said, daily loads of benefit. Well, I got the truck and I'm out of the rain, right? Which we would consider that a benefit. But while I looked at the brother, he just had on a measly hat, but he had 2 perfectly good legs.
Yeah.
And he had food in his hand, so he had money to buy food. And so the benefit was he could walk where he needed to. He wasn't going in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't not have the money to go get the food. So again, the benefits is that the Most High, the health, all those different dynamics. But we want to look at it like, well, see, I don't have a car.
Yeah.
You got 2 good legs.
God. And how can you train yourself to see the good in every aspect you go into?
Right.
You have to constantly teach yourself these spiritual exercises so that you can pull out the good when there's obvious negative and bad around you. Okay, we got that verse in Psalm 68, right?
No.
You didn't
I
finish?
I ain't read the whole thing.
Can I make a point too?
Let that go. I'm sorry.
It says right here, he loads with benefits.
Let's put it down there.
Load is also to impose a burden.
Let's put there. I don't think it's going to be shown.
Loads to impose a burden or to a heavy burden. So what it is the Most High gives us so many good benefits. It could be a quote unquote heavy burden. You know what that's really saying? It's saying the Most High has blessed you so much. He's blessed us so much. But guess what? I've gotten spoiled. I've become very spoiled to the point that my complaints are a spoiled person's complaints.
Yes.
First world complaints.
First world, yeah. But see, once again, you see that even that process of attacking your mindset, you know how many steps you got to evolve to even start thinking like that? And for us, we've been doing this for years, bro. So sometimes we forget, like, how many steps we've jumped versus somebody who's just wrestling with self-loathing and anger.
Scratch. And
how they can't even get past that. Because what you're saying is where our common battle goes to, but so many people just can't get past this hatred and anger and bitterness for their condition. And how many years they got to deal with that before they can even get to the kind of conversation we're talking about.
And I remember when I was in that situation, those
It's wars. We're talking wars.
I realized I wanted to change. I realized that my life was a rerun of the same 2-3 emotions.
Yeah.
You only really have 2 or 3 emotions, like majority of the time.
Yeah.
You're angry or you're sad. Those are 2.
And there's triggers that lead you to being angry.
Yeah, everything.
And sad.
Either I'm angry.
It's a cycle.
Or I'm saying you don't have no other. What other channels do you have going on inside you?
It's the anger channel. It's the violence channel.
I want to do something to this person. I'm gonna get this mother. That channel, or it's just been all. It's just
cut the lights on. So many lights on this house,
man. It was all bad.
Why are all the lights on? Close the windows.
What was it worth?
Close the windows. Close the blinds. Let's hear some sorrow. Let's hear some Brian McKnight.
Yeah, Brian McKnight's coming on tonight.
Bam, 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 bam.
He's Fat Line Native on.
Sad songs, that. Anyway, we keep going.
When you start to realize, when you actually start to watch yourself, and not watch other people, you really only entertain maybe 2, max maybe 3 different emotions. So that's all good.
You know what I'm doing? Because we got 10 or 15 minutes.
8, 19,
I want to get at least a couple more verses. Give me Acts 24 and 16. Very important verse. Acts 24 and 16. And then give me Hebrews chapter 12 and 15. I want to make sure these verses hit.
Acts chapter 24 and verse 16.
This is what Paul held on to strengthen his outlook and to strengthen and maintain his power.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And herein do I exercise myself.
He said, Paul exercises himself with this mentality. Read on.
To have always a conscience void of offense towards the Most High.
This hits, he says he always exercises himself to make sure he has a conscience and outlook void of offending the Most High. Wow. And that you can take that conscience void of offending the Most High in context with this class. Am I sitting back here making sure I show that I'm not angry at him about my condition? Do I practice making sure that I'm appreciative for everything he's given me? Do I practice teaching my mind and how I look at things that what I'm going through is not more than what I can handle and my circumstances aren't unfair? Do I teach myself to have a conscience void of offense towards the Most High? Do I practice looking at the Most High like he's good, like he's fair, like he's just? And I'm in my situation because of me. That's how you safeguard falling backwards again. That's how you safeguard going from being positive to negative. And now I'm in a 6-month rut for being angry and negative and dejected about my condition. Do you practice, just like we would practice the law, we practice following the law, do you practice seeing the Most High in a good light? Do I practice looking at my condition and reminding myself I'm here because of me? It's not the Most High. And what? He says, I exercise myself to have always a conscious void of offense towards the Most High and who?
And toward men.
Do I practice myself not blaming men for my conditions? Do I practice not blaming people for why I'm in the situation I'm in? Because that's what we do. We blame men and the Most High.
Yep.
He says we have to practice making sure I don't show my conscience to have an offense towards the Heavenly Father or men. Can I practice not blaming people for why I'm in my situation? Exactly. That's how I eliminate that anger, that bitterness. And I neutralize that wisdom that feeds bitterness. It's so important that we hold on to this. It's an exercise. That's what I was. You have to practice learning how to see the good in things around you. You have to practice learning how to have a good outlook about your circumstance, about your lot in life, about what the Most High's got you going through. Can you practice it? Can you practice that train of thought? Because that's what it's going to take to make sure you're void of offense towards the Most High and men. Y'all understand?
God.
Let that go. And y'all better check that damn verse. That verse hits. Let me see what nobody says. Hebrews chapter 12 and 15. I'm damn serious, That's one of them life or death verses you better hold on to, I had to cuss a little bit. I know this is the word of Jesus. I had to cuss. Like, God damn, you better sit back here and yell that shit out. I'm telling you, bro. That's life and death. That's how you last a dub. That's how you can last 25 years, bro, off of that kind of stuff. I'm serious. I'm not even lying. I wish I had that 25 years ago. It would be a whole lot easier. Damn. You get it when you get it, man. Read on.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 15 reads, looking diligently.
What are we looking diligently at? We just read it in Acts. You're looking diligent to make sure what? Your spirit is void of what? Your conscience is void of offense towards the Most High and towards men. That's what you're looking at. Am I able to look to make sure that my conscience is void of offense? My outlook isn't bitter. I'm not looking at things crappy towards the Most High and men. Look, he says, look what? Look
diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High.
Exactly. You better stay on top of your outlook. You better kill that bitterness. You better kill that anger. Because the ones who don't are going to fall out of the grace of the Heavenly Father. You're going to fall out of the Most High's for the good side. What is grace? You're getting something you don't deserve. He's already given you a second chance that you don't deserve. Now, if you start feeding that anger and that bitterness and that negativity, you're going to lose that second chance to make it right with them. You better work on that bitterness. If not, you're going to lose that grace he already gave you. Yes, you're ungrateful. That person who's bitter and angry is ungrateful and unappreciative for the second chance he gave you. So you better fight your ass off to be appreciative and to realize the Most High isn't fair.
He is fair.
That's what the Most High is fair. I'm sorry.
Come.
I said double negative. Make sure the Most High is fair and he's just and you're where you're supposed to be because of your conduct. You better practice that. These two verses go hand in hand. Because he's telling you the other one was what Paul did willingly. Now Paul comes back around the back end and says, man, if you don't do this willingly, you're going to fail from the grace of the Most High. Read on.
Come. Lest any root of bitterness.
They told you about that bitterness. We've been talking about it all day long. If you sit back here and don't stay on top of your outlook, that root of bitterness is going to spring up. That negative outlook, that condescending mindset, that doom and gloom mindset, the most fact that everything I'm going through was unfair, the Most High is unfair, why am I living this crap-ass life I'm living? Those thoughts are dangerous, and you're susceptible for the Most High turning his back on you, and you falling from grace if you entertain that negative. Read on.
Lest any root of bitterness spring up, trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Many be defiled. That bitterness is what? Titus 1 and 15. Give me Titus 1 and 15.
Titus chapter 1 verse 15.
Yep, read on. So don't forget, we just read in Matthew 12 and 15 how you have to make sure you're diligent to stay on top of that outlook so you don't fall from grace. You don't fail from the grace of the Most High. That second chance he gave us all by Christ dying. Read on.
Unto the pure all things are pure. But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure.
So once again, that defiled person that we read in Hebrews 15 is that person that can't see the purity in things. That can't see the good in things. He said, looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness spring up in you, springing up, trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. They're defiled by their outlook. He's telling you, if we don't stay on top of our outlook, we are susceptible to not making the kingdom of heaven. If your outlook isn't pure, if you can't see the purity in the Heavenly Father and what you do every day for Him, you are on the chopping block. A lot of times we're so concerned with just doing the semantics, the outward work. I did the Sabbath, I didn't sit back and sit here. But if your outlook is defiled, you are susceptible to failing of the grace of the Heavenly Father. If you can't see the good in what the Most High has done for you, why should you make the goddamn kingdom? That's a real ass question. If I can't see the good in what the Most High has put through in my life, and all I focus on is sorrow and unhappiness and bitterness, then why should you deserve the reward that everybody who does look at the Most High in a pure light gets? You don't earn it. You don't deserve it. If you can't fight to see how the Most High is good, and all His works are good, and that He's all about a fair and just balance, if you can't train your mind to see that, you're susceptible to not making the kingdom. You understand that? You can't play around with those thoughts. Those thoughts will destroy you. Yes, sir.
Jude 1 and 16.
Whenever you're ready.
Read it.
Jude chapter 1 and verse 16. These are murmurers.
These are what?
Murmurers.
These are murmurers.
Complainers.
Complainers.
Walking after their own lusts.
Doing what I want to do. Seeing how things how I want to see it.
And their mouth speaketh great swelling words.
They got long conversations that you can't outdo. You can't argue with these people.
Having men.
You can't convince them, you mean?
You can't convince this person. Read.
Having men's persons in admiration.
Looking at other people's lives. Being comparative thinkers. Read.
Because of advantage.
Look at everybody else's advantage, and everybody got it better than me, and everybody had a better life. And I came from this place, and they came from that place, and it's not fair. And this ain't my situation. But look at their situation, and Most High's blessing them, and he ain't blessing me. And why this and why that? Most High said these are murmurers.
Huh?
It's a product of murmuring in your mind.
Huh?
It's a bad exercise, bro.
Listen, it's deadly. You murmuring in your mind, you're complaining, you're unhappy. Listen, that's a trait that can sit back here and provide you a first-class trip to hell.
Exactly. Can I prove it? I got one more scripture to prove it. Psalms 44. How many fast?
Hit that. I got one more. I don't want to be. It's already 10:30. Yeah.
I'm super quick. Psalms 144 and 14. I'm super quick.
Psalms 144.
Psalm 144 and 14. Because what we're going into people not getting to heaven now.
This is the damn truth, huh?
Listen, not getting to the kingdom.
Because I have a negative outlook. That's scary as hell. That's scary as hell. If I'm not appreciative, I'm in danger of not making a kingdom.
Now we know David had a heart like the Most High, right?
Yeah.
David had a heart like the Most High. David's gonna be in heaven now. He gonna be in the kingdom.
What verse is this, bro?
Psalm 144 and verse 14. It's gonna be real quick in and out.
No, we're good. Listen, I just want to make sure this is the truth. That verse, listen, that other verse hit me. Hebrews, shit.
Yeah.
Failing the grace of the Most High. Because I got a defiled outlook. I got a bitter, angry outlook. That supersedes all that other stuff. I was a fornicator. That's one thing. When you had an outlook that's negative, because I'm not a fornicator. I'm not this and not that. When you're bitter and angry at your condition, you're no different than the other person. Because that's something that we all keep to ourselves. How angry we are with our life. How angry and how unsatisfied we are about our conditions. That's something we keep to ourselves, and we smile and we salute and operate like that's okay. I can hold this hidden negativity, this hidden discontentment, and it's going to be okay if I just sit back and smile and salute and bake cookies and shit, and go to work. Then I'm okay. That ain't working. If you're unhappy with your condition, then your ass on the chopping block too. Yeah. How about that? Keep going, Dowie. I'm sorry.
Read verse 11 real fast.
Psalms 144 and verse 11. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of estranged children.
No, give me away. Let me. Not a strange. Read it again, bro, please. Not a strange children.
Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children.
Deliver me from the hand.
14.
Yeah, it's 14 and verse 11.
144.
Oh, what is it?
144 verse 11.
Okay, it was. I thought it was 14.
Yeah, I backed up real fast.
Okay.
It's about strange children, right? Who are these strange
children? Read it from the top again, so everybody can get it. I'm sorry, man, because I got it. So it's 144, 11 through what?
Through 14.
No, we're good. You said you lied to me. You said it was 1. There's no lying lips now. Yeah. Come on, my friend. We're lying here in the streets. His last days, Zach. I'm sorry. His last days, men in the class is lying to me.
We just went over this class, bro.
We just went over it. He's a prophet. We're prophets here. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just messing with you.
Psalms 144 and verse 11. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children.
So David had a mind like the Most High. He said, rid me, and I want to be away from strange children. Read.
Whose mouth speaketh vanity.
What makes them strange is their mouth is always speaking vanity. Why? Because what comes out the mouth proceeds from the what?
The heart.
From the heart. Read.
And their right hand is a right hand of falsehood.
Always got excuses.
Their strength is the lies.
Their strength is in lies and justifications. Okay. Keep reading.
That our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth.
That's the hope. Read.
But that our daughters may be as cornerstone.
Read on.
Polished after the similitude of a palace.
This is the product that we need. We need sons like plants. Plants always grow, and daughters like cornerstones. We need women that are strong spirited, not in the American strong spirit in Christ.
Yep.
Strong in Christ. Read.
That our garners may be full.
We have plenty of blessings. Read.
Affording all manner of store.
Our storehouses be full. We shouldn't be dealing with a bunch of poverty all the time in Israel. It shouldn't be poverty zone if we're all working together. Read.
That our sheep may bring forth thousands and 10,000s in our streets.
Read on.
That our oxen may be strong to labor.
We have strong production as a nation. Read.
That there be no breaking in, nor going out.
There be no people invading us, or us sit here having to escape and run from anybody. Read.
That there be no complaining in our street.
David say, listen, deliver me from the hand of strange children. That there be no what?
No complaining in our streets.
So if there shouldn't be any complaining in Israel, is there going to be complaining in the kingdom of? You think they're
No.
delivery?
I'm just saying, there's going to be loads of complaining. We're going to be voting, and we're going to sit back and have protests in the kingdom. I'm messing with
The
you.
Most High said, listen, there will be no complaining. David said, listen, I don't want no
This
complaining.
is why Daliah is the Psalms king. He's pulling out all these different angles.
Listen, there
No
should be
complaining is phenomenal.
No complaining in these streets. That's what David said here, right? If David said it, and he said that this is Most High and him have the same mind, you think he's gonna be the Most High's house out?
Complaining?
I knew this was the dude.
What's the whole point? The point is this: what he's saying about in this perfect kingdom, in this perfect place where the righteous are going to be.
Yeah.
There's no complaining amongst this righteous generation of people.
Yeah.
Because that's what the next verse I got going on is we talk about the same thing.
God.
The wise don't sit back here and complain. The wise aren't bitter. How about that one?
Yeah.
It's the same point. That's perfect. Listen, he's saying in a kingdom there's no complaining. To get to the kingdom, you can't complain. People that are wise, everybody say, well, I'm wise. Wisdom. You ain't using wisdom, brother. I haven't got the wisdom angle, but you walk on here bitter and angry as hell about your situation, about your life, about the lot the Most High gave you. Listen, you done with that?
I'm done.
No complaining. There'll be no more complaining.
In these streets.
In these streets. So now give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 13 through 16. Yeah, we're good with Titus. Did you finish Titus?
I was in Titus.
No, it was 1:16. You was in no. I'm sorry. Now I was in Titus, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 13 through 16.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, and verse 13. Moreover, by the means of her I shall obtain immortality.
He says, by the means of using wisdom, I'm going to obtain immortality. This is Solomon talking. You get them immortality through how well you apply wisdom. Read on.
And leave behind me an everlasting memorial to them that come after me.
Hell yeah. Through your works, you should make you commit yourself to the Most High. You'll have a template of how to do it. So all your family can try to follow your template and have a shot to get to the kingdom also. Read on.
I shall set the people in order, and the nations shall be subject unto me.
Hell yeah, in this kingdom. Read on.
Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they do but hear of me. I shall be found good among the multitude, and valiant in war. After I am come into my house, I will repose myself with her.
Her is still talking about wisdom. This whole chapter is talking about the interactions between man and wisdom. Read on.
For her conversation hath no bitterness.
Listen, if you're operating in the spirit of wisdom, you're not bitter. There's no resentment in your life. Like, listen, listen, remember Job talked to his wife and said, you speak like the damn foolish ones, huh? What the hell are you talking about? When we're sitting back here angry, bitter, unhappy with our situation, that right at that particular time is when wisdom has left you. Just like in Wisdom chapter 1. Wisdom chapter 1, where it says to a malicious spirit, wisdom won't enter. Into a bitter spirit, wisdom won't enter. You can't have bitterness in your heart and expect the Most High to operate through you, to operate wisdom through you. It's not going to happen. And if wisdom's not going to enter into you, then you're not going to face immortality.
True.
You can't get immortality. Because righteousness is what? Immortal. Operating in wisdom in verse 13 is immortal. It's how you tap into immortality, is how well you apply wisdom. But if I have bitterness, there's no wisdom in me. So I can't reach my immortality. Do y'all understand? If you have bitterness in your heart, anger in your heart, you can't make the kingdom, you can't grow, you can't get anywhere. So if you got that seed of anger and hostility and frustration, and you're just not content, and you're mad about your condition, you better seek counsel with your elders to fix it. Because you can't hold on to that, maintain wisdom, get the kingdom, get all these spiritual goodies you think you damn deserve. You understand? There's more, but we're going to shut it down at that. Shalom Israel, Kawada for tuning in, and we'll be back on Wednesday.